Samuel for the $20 on Venmo. Dude, let's get 200 Samuel W's. Samuel with the $20 says, hey, Dean, watching your stream for a while now. Wanted to donate to your cause. You're amazing, Dean, and I hope your day is going quite amazing. You know what? Let me tell you it is. I think that you're amazing as well, Samuel. Thank you so much for all the love. As well as Morgan, thank you for the $10. Madeline with 1. Another Morgan with $1 and Cora with a 2. Thank you guys so much. What's going on, man? Do you support Trump?
I do.
Okay, all right. The one last one here. Haley, thank you for this just in the $5 over on Venmo. Saying, hey, Dean, happy to hear about your car. I asked you last week about Backseat Lovers. I'm still very curious to hear your favorite song by them. Right now, I'd say it's Words I Use. Thank you for the $5. But go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you support Trump.
So I originally supported Trump for his immigration policies, and I did kind of have some faith in the tax cuts he was offering. But honestly, it's like more recently, I feel like I've been kind of on the edge of, teetering away from my support for Trump.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of like one of those things I'm trying to still kind of figure out and work out in my head to figure out like what's right. But for me, it's also hard for me to like say that Kamala was the best pick.
She was better than Trump. So you're telling us that you think that you still support him because of his immigration policy? Which one?
I guess I just, not necessarily that I'm so familiar with policy, but I just don't, I didn't really see the benefit, like I just didn't see why there would be, I guess, illegal immigrants in the States are coming through, and why we like are trying to fund them and, provide all of this free healthcare for them and everything like that as well. I just didn't see how that would benefit us as as a nation, The
federal government doesn't give free healthcare to undocumented immigrants.
Okay.
Right. In fact, the federal government actually can't use any money on undocumented immigrants. It's illegal. Per the Personal Work Order and Responsibility Act of 1996, public welfare benefits from the federal government can only be extended to legal residents and citizens.
Okay. Like I said, I'm not super familiar. I'm trying. I've been on the edge of I haven't been too supportive of everything that's been going on right now. And obviously, there's some weird stuff with the Epstein files that I'm like, okay, well, let's release those. Let's figure out what's going on here.
Do you think that you could clearly state anything that Trump is doing that you're a fan of? Clearly state any reason why you consider yourself to be MAGA?
I mean,
are you driving?
No, I'm not driving. I'm actually parked waiting for my food.
Okay, no worries. So can you name any reason why you support Trump?
Not necessarily, I guess. Not right now.
All right, man, you have a good rest of your day. I honestly just think that you're a little bit confused. And honestly, I'm happy that you're confused compared to non-confused and willfully ignorant support of Trump. It's actually better to be confused than to be super pro-Trump. So I actually appreciate that. Okay, you're better than most. What I recommend you is just watching the stream. Honestly, I feel like if you hang out with us for a couple hours, you won't be confused anymore. And you'll be staunchly anti-MAGA. But I appreciate you for coming up. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here. If you happen to be one of the 9,000 people hanging out with us in here for the day, and you are a hard right MAGA motherfucker, and you want to come and push me, go ahead and hop in that queue. We're going to get you up here. We are only looking very specifically for Trump supporters. So hop in that queue. If you're MAGA, we're going to get you loaded up in here. Let's get that next guest loaded up in here right now, y'all. In the meantime, make sure that we're double tapping on that phone screen. What's up, man? Do you support Trump? Nope, they're already gone. They ran away. We got a runner. We got a big runner, big time runner, folks. Big time runner. Moving on to the next guest, we got Trump_Texas in all caps loading up in. Holy shit. Hey, what's up? How old are you? Trump_Texas?
Hey, Dean.
Get out of here. Banned. Mods, ban them. Moving on to the next guest, Charlie. Dude, I swear to God, they just know how... They know what usernames to choose. Yo, Goda, thank you so much for this $17 over on PayPal, saying keep smiling, Dean. You're doing amazing. And once again, I hope you have a very good day. You as well, Goda. It's good to see you again. You were hanging out with us last night. Thank you for being here again. Huge shout out to Goda. That is Goda. Dabble on that chat. What's up, Charlie? Are you MAGA?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, how old are you?
16.
Oh, gotta ban ya. Guys, the rules are simple. If you're in that queue, you gotta be an American adult. You gotta be, you gotta be hard right. Okay, you gotta be big time MAGA, right? Hard right MAGA motherfucker. It is seriously that simple. If you follow those rules, I think we're gonna have a great stream. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yo,
Well, are you hard right? Are you a hard right MAGA
Absolutely.
motherfucker? Okay, all right. Are you
I am a
driving?
mad motherfucker, dude.
Are you driving,
Yo.
dude?
No, I'm not driving. I'm in the car though.
Okay, how old are you?
19.
19. All right. Why are you a hard right MAGA motherfucker?
I like Trump.
Okay. All right. Why? Yeah.
like this-
Why?
I just like the stuff he does. What do you dislike about him?
Oh, I just like the fact that he's an adjudicated rapist. I just like the fact that he's a 34-count convicted felon. I just like the fact that he's an absolute raging authoritarian narcissist that has violated both the First, Second, 14th, and 22nd Amendment in the last 8 months. I just like the fact that he renamed the Department of Defense to the Department of War, then declared war on American cities and gave an illegal directive to the military to actively arrest American citizens in those cities, violating the Posse Comitatus Act of 1897. I also very vehemently dislike the fact that he elected 3 justices to the Supreme Court to overturn Roe v. Wade to infringe on women and girls' access to abortion, which has now led to 66 million American women not having access to healthcare electively, and 60 pregnant rape victims per day being denied access to abortion in 10 of our 50 states. I also heavily dislike the fact that he was best friends with Epstein in the 90s when Epstein was actively exploiting children, and then he was his self-proclaimed best friend. And then we had Congress release a letter that Trump had sent to Epstein detailing the depiction of the naked body of a woman or girl with a statement, "May every new day be another wonderful secret." I dislike the fact that Donald Trump lied about his relationship with Epstein. I dislike the fact that Donald Trump is now refusing to release the files and gave a directive to the FBI to flag and redact his name anywhere where it's mentioned in the files. I also dislike the fact that Donald Trump went on Howard Stern's radio show in 2005, said that he would sexually exploit little girls by walking into their changing rooms while they're naked unconsensually to perv on them. And I also dislike the fact that he downplayed grape against
said that?
boys by saying that he thinks that they liked it. Should I keep going?
See, I can't fight with you on stuff that I don't know, but I can had a whole bunch of stuff, definitely.
Okay.
But the thing is,
Go ahead.
what's wrong with him going into the cities and arresting illegal immigrants?
Okay, well, first
What's wrong with that?
So, first and foremost, what I specifically touched on was his illegal directive to the military to make arrests. So, the military, per the Posse Comitatus Act of the 19th century, cannot function as a domestic law enforcement agency. The reason why they passed this piece of legislation was to prevent a martial law type state where the president could just weaponize the military to do whatever he wants. Not to mention, there's been many courts that have ruled his directive to deploy the National Guard without the consent of the governors of these states is illegal as well. We had a federal judge rule this last night for his deployment of the National Guard into Illinois, and we had a federal judge rule this maybe 3 days ago for his elective deployment of the National Guard in Oregon. Not to mention that there's also symbols of a possible civil war where he's now directing one state's National Guard to invade another state, such as his directive for the Texas National Guard to go into Oregon, which once again was shut down by a federal judge because it violated the 10th Amendment. And by the way, if you think that we should deport undocumented immigrants from the country because they committed a misdemeanor, why do you actively support a 34-count felon adjudicated rapist that has violated the Constitution all these times, including the 2 rulings from the 2 federal judges I just gave you in the last 48 hours?
See, I'm not informed in all that, so I can't really speak on it. But for the stuff that I do have an idea of, which I'm not a debater, so I can't name 70 things off on why I feel whatever. But
You're good. Honestly, I'm just a little bit too
I feel
energetic
like-
today. I should probably bring it down a level.
No.
I'm a little bit too energetic.
you're all good. If you stand for something, it's all good. Nothing's wrong with it. But I'm just saying, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that I just feel like it's better that we get illegal immigrants outside of the country than still inviting them into the country when people are getting raped, people are getting kidnapped. The cartel is not a good thing. And I feel like, and we have threats. We have people who don't like America, like people in the Middle East that are. They said that I forgot what it's called, but it's something. It's like something that hates America, and whatever they allowed it or whatever. And there's people that are coming into America that don't like America and want to change everything about America and completely just turn America in a 360 of what we got going on, and
So I
I
understand.
feel
I
like
understand now
letting
why you're
rapists,
MAGA.
letting drug dealers.
I understand why you're MAGA now. It's because you've just been like so succumbed by like incredibly bigoted propaganda that's just completely false. You're right. You've bought into the false narrative propped up by Trump, propped up by the GOP, that undocumented immigrants are like violent criminals that want to grape your wife, kidnap your children, and eat your family pets and dog, right? Because he has identified them as an enemy to unify his base, including you, right? But the fact of the matter is, undocumented immigrants are 2.5 times less likely to commit a violent crime, 3 times less likely to commit a property crime, and 3.5 times less likely to commit a petty crime. 1% of 1% of violent crimes in this country are committed by undocumented immigrants. Meanwhile, 92% of violent crimes in this country are committed by American MEN, right? But you'd rather attack the minority that is statistically speaking more benevolent, more safe, and has a higher version of violent crime inside of this country, right? Because it like further perpetuates that what Donald Trump is doing is good and that he's saving this country and it's for the betterment of the world. When in all reality, it is just causing so many Americans, including yourself, to demonize and dehumanize undocumented immigrants who are hardworking mothers and fathers, business owners, entrepreneurs that are actively contributing not just to the economy of this country, but to the moral fabric, holding family values close to their heart while acting in a benevolent manner and actively reducing crime rates. It's just disgusting.
See, and the thing is, because I'm a first generation U.S. citizen. My family came from Dominican Republic. They came in through New York. They went in the right way. They are no threat to being deported. I feel like everybody needs to go through that way for it to be fair. I mean, it only makes sense for us to have borders. It only makes sense for us to keep our people safe. To just have an open border. Obviously, I feel like there's more good people than there is bad people. So more good people that come in, illegally or what, most likely are good people, right? But there is there's a few people that are bad that want to hurt America, terrorist attacks that people threaten and shit like that. So I just feel like, in my opinion, what I've seen and what I've saw, I think Donald Trump's doing a good thing. Obviously, he's not perfect, but I feel like the border is a good thing on his behalf, at least.
Okay. So first and foremost, okay, you made a massive equivocation. I'm also going to meet you while I say this just because there's a little bit of background noise. First and foremost, you made a massive equivocation. Okay, not supporting the mass deportation of undocumented immigrants is not the same as supporting open borders. And if you want me to tell you why I can, but that's just a massive equivocation. This is like saying, oh, I like waffles. And then me being like, oh, so you hate pancakes? Like, come on, let's use our brains, use common sense. Second point, right? You've continued to reiterate this point that you think that we should deport undocumented immigrants because maybe some of them are rapists. We should deport undocumented immigrants because maybe some of them like hate America. We should deport undocumented immigrants because maybe some of them are terrorists that want to overthrow the government. Well, guess what? Donald Trump is actually a rapist. Donald Trump has actually caused an insurrection at the Capitol. Donald Trump has actually launched a plot to attempt to overthrow a federal election, attempting to rig the outcome of the 2020 election. Okay? Donald Trump has actually declared war on America, more specifically American cities, saying that the real enemy is the enemy from within. Right? So in the same way earlier you said that there is countries in the Middle East that have identified America as the enemy. Guess what? Donald Trump has identified Americans as the enemy when he said, as I already said, that the real enemy is the enemy from within. So why don't you take all of these virtues and apply them to the man that you support so much, okay? Because I'll say that for one last time, it changes the perspective from the notion that maybe some undocumented immigrants are rapists, therefore we got to remove them all from the country, to, well, we know that Donald Trump is a rapist, but you don't want to remove him from the White House. It just kind of seems a little bit hypocritical, you know what I mean? Like, if you cared so much about public safety, if you cared so much about condemning like sexual abuse, if you cared so much about punishing those who are guilty of rape, why do you actively prop a rapist up as president and give him your endorsement and full support?
Yeah, I have no knowledge on that, so I mean, I'll obviously talk about it. So if he is raping people, if he has raped people or whatever the such is such, it definitely should be brought to light, and it
is brought to light. It was prosecuted by a court.
For it.
He did get in trouble in court. A unanimous jury of 9 held him liable.
Who?
A unanimous jury of 9 inside of a civil court in 2023 held him liable. They determined that he was guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll.
See, I have no idea about that situation. If you could send it to me or whatever, I'll look into it. And if that's the case, it's wrong. But I'm going off what
Okay,
what I like.
So if he was a rapist, would you still support him as president?
No. If he was raping people, he did a whole bunch of things. It depends on the situation. Obviously, rape
What do you
is
mean
not
it depends
wrong.
on the situation?
Like, all rape is not wrong. But if someone if somebody's
wait.
falsely claiming,
You just said
like
all
falsely
rape is
claiming,
not. I just want. You just said that
all
all
rape
rape
is
is
wrong.
okay. You said all rape is not
All-
wrong.
No, that's not what I meant. All rape is wrong. But I'm saying, like, if someone was like, say you think he raped somebody, but someone's falsely accusing him, I don't think he should be in trouble. But I have no idea, so I'm not gonna say he is or not. But
Okay. So
I'm saying
I'll go ahead and give
standpoint-
you all the information that you need right now. In 2023, a civil court in the state of New York determined that Donald Trump was guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll, right, in 1996. Okay, and they did so based upon the preponderance of evidence that she provided to the court alongside the inconsistencies and lies within his own testimony.
Sorry, you cut out. Repeat that again. Sorry about it.
I'll give
They're
you all
saying
the
I
information
know.
you need right
I don't
now.
even know anything about.
Right? So Donald Trump was held civilly liable for the violent sexual abuse or rape of E. Jean Carroll, right, in 2023 by a unanimous ruling from a jury of 9 based upon the preponderance of evidence submitted by the victim, E. Jean Carroll, to that court case, alongside the inconsistencies and lies within his own testimony inside of that same court case. Not to mention that there's many other things that he's done in his life that give us more surrounding reason to believe that the ruling of this court is accurate, such as I've already brought up, when he went on Howard Stern's podcast in 2005 and said that he would unconsensually walk into the dressing rooms of women and girls and look at them while they're naked, and he would talk about how he would get away with it, right? That is obviously something that a rapist would say, right? You know,
Yeah, that's obviously that's not good,
on the Access
but,
Hollywood tapes, he was recorded saying that you could just grab women by the P word and you don't even need to ask for it first. That's something a rapist would say. You know, when he was asked by a reporter in 2012 how he felt about young boys getting raped by their female teachers in school, he said, well, it's like not wrong because they probably liked it. That's something a rapist would say. He was best friends with Epstein and talked about their quote unquote wonderful secrets together. That's probably something that a rapist would say, right? So like not just using the ruling of that civil court that determined he was guilty of raping E. Jean Carroll, but also looking at his surrounding actions, right, from the 90s until 2012 until today, right, becomes incredibly clear that the ruling of that court is something that we should all believe in.
See, yeah, obviously, if you're like, I have no information otherwise than you telling me. Like, if I look at it, whatever, I agree with you. If he is a rapist, obviously that's wrong. I don't support rapists at all. And what I've seen and what I'm informed of, I know your chat's like going crazy and shit, but the stuff that I'm informed of, I haven't seen anything that would tell me he is or not. But
Bro, I
let's
just
move
gave,
on to the next
no,
question.
because
I
you
know,
just said
I know, but I'm
you like you're
looking
not
for
you're not aware of
sources.
like
When
you're
somebody tells
you're
when
not
somebody
aware of like
tells you
anything.
something, when somebody tells you something, you don't. Oh, okay. He told me this. Okay, I agree with
Fuck,
it.
man, you're making me
You
work
know
the
what I mean?
mile, okay.
I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm not saying you're a liar. I'm
Okay,
just,
well,
if somebody was telling you something, I wouldn't want you to agree. I'd rather you come up with
Okay, well, here's the literal verdict form from the jury. I'll go ahead and explain the verdict form to you. So first, I want you to look at question number 1 and question number 2. Question number 2, the jury determined that Mr. Trump was guilty of sexually abusing Miss Carroll. They selected yes. And the reason why they selected no to question number 1, which was did Donald Trump grape E. Jean Carroll, was because the term grape was defined in the court at that time as the penetration of the female member with a male member, but he was found civilly liable of penetrating her female member with his fingers forcefully and non-consensually, which is obviously something that we still consider to be grape, and the judge even clarified that what he did to her was grape, and New York has even updated their law to reflect that since. So now that I've not just like explained the evidence to you, giving you the specifics, but now even literally shown you the verdict form from NewYorkCourts.gov, now do you believe it?
I mean, yeah, sure. If that's a real case or whatever that you just showed me, obviously I would believe that. Like, if that's real, then yeah, obviously.
Okay, so you no longer
But,
support Trump.
Well, I have no, like, I have to verify for myself, but you're trying to get me into this, oh, I gotcha. Let's move on to something else. If you rape somebody, that's bad. I don't support that.
Okay, well, no, I'm
I
just
know,
gonna,
this
I'm
is
just
a
gonna,
piece of paper.
I'm just gonna, it's just a piece of paper from the NewYorkCourts.gov
It's not just a
website.
piece of paper, but yeah, I know. I'm saying I'm gonna do more research after the live.
Now I'm gonna
I'll
have
do
you
more research
listen.
after the
I'm
live.
just gonna have you verify it for yourself, literally right now. Okay. Go on pause, go to Google, type in Trump v. Carroll, Carroll. You will find pages of reporting on the outcome of the civil court case. I don't know why the specifics that I provided you in conjunct with the literal verdict form from the jury isn't enough, right? So maybe if I just have you go on Google and type in Trump v. Carroll to look at the pages of search results yourself, then you'll have enough evidence. Holy crap. Holy shit, guys. These people are rough today. Quickly, I'd like to thank Michael. Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Thank you so much for the love, Michael. And good luck on your move, bro. Let's show some love to Michael down below in that comment section for the $20 donation on PayPal. Let's get 200 Michael W's. Thank you so much, man. As well as Aileen, that is Aileen. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal as well, saying, I love it when they ask you to give them a bunch of reasons why you don't support Trump and you give many factual ones. But then when you ask them why they do support Trump, they can't name one reason. Yeah, that seems to be a trend. Appreciate you for the $10, Aline. As well as Brent. Thank you for the $15 over on PayPal.
Need a reason why I support him.
Well, one second, man. Brent with the $15 on PayPal says, appreciate your strength and calling out ignorance and standing up for what's right against MAGA. Thank you so much for the love, Brent. Show some love to Brent for the $15. I really appreciate you for your kind words in the $15, man. As well as Heidi. Thank you for the $10 over on PayPal. And Dahlia, thank you for the $20 on Venmo. Dahlia says, thank you for all that you do. Really appreciate your debates. Thank you so much, Dahlia. 200 Dahlia W's down below. Seriously, thank you. As well as Allison, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. Hannah, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. And G, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. You guys are so incredibly kind. I did read y'all's messages to myself. Thank you so much for the love. Lennon, were you able to go to Google and fact check the reporting on the fact that Donald Trump was held civilly liable for raping E. Jean Carroll?
Whatever. But let's get back to topic. If Donald Trump's a rapist, I don't support him. I'm going to do more research into it. Let's get on to more politics. If you're just going to keep... I know, I understand where you're at. You want me to be like, oh, I don't fuck with Trump, I have to do more research. I see a whole bunch of things. What more research
do you need to do?
Like, go through every website, read them, look at YouTube, whatever. I'm going to do more research. I'm not going to just, first website I see, boom, 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 this is how I feel.
Listen, let me just...
I see what you're saying is not lying.
You have access.
If he is a rapist, I don't fuck with that.
You have access.
But next thing.
No, not next thing. Not next thing yet, my friend.
You see what I'm saying?
Not next thing.
You see what I'm saying? You're stuck on some shit that I have no idea about. How about you talk to me about something that I'm actually like looking into? I have no idea about what Trump is going on to about.
Can you shut the hell up? You have access to like a great resource right now. You have access to me, right? And all of the research that
you're not a great. Okay. You could be, but I have no idea about you. Just like if you were to tell me something, I have not. Beep,
muted. Cry about it. Anyways, you have access to a great resource right now. Okay.
You feel good muting somebody while debating? That's not how you debate. You know how to debate or no?
It makes me feel good in the sense that it reduces my cortisol. Oh, well, it makes me feel good in the sense that it reduces my cortisol levels because I don't have to listen to the screeching of a man. You've been
acting like weird because in real life, what would you do in real life? You wouldn't act like that.
In real life, I'd
fuck out, right? Right or wrong?
I'd talk to you in your face like this, little man, baby. Oh yeah, look at the MAGA emotional man is getting so pissed off because he's getting dunked on by a 21-year-old white boy that he's now threatening physical violence. Wait, I have a question. I have a question. Are you saying that like MAGA are you saying that MAGA is so violent that they just want to be able to like punch and knock out people that they disagree with politically? Is this like really
no,
like
but is the left side so violent they have to shoot and kill Charlie Kirk?
Wait, I'm so sorry. You have absolutely no right to talk about violence considering the fact that I just told you I wanted to educate you about the facts of the court case that concluded that Donald Trump is of the court case that determined that Donald Trump was a rapist. Hey man, baby, could you shut the hell up and let the real man finish to speak? I'd really appreciate it.
You can't fight though. Look at you. Real men fight, not shoot people because they disagree with their opinion. Okay. That's the difference between you and I.
Get it all out, little man, baby.
So let's go on about the border. Yep. Okay. Next.
Okay, so
I was mad chill. You muted and shit. That's weird, bro. Let's have a conversation. Let's debate. Okay. Let's be civilized. Don't act like that because in real life I would fuck you up, right? So let's continue on having a regular conversation.
Wait, I have a question. So you just said in real life you'd fuck me up. Why don't you do it?
What happened? Why? You answer that. Why?
No, I just said like, why don't you do it? You know, like I show up to universities, I show up to campuses, why I do like IRL events. Like, why don't you like come up, show up to one and like try to fuck me up? Like, see what happens.
All right, go to Tampa. What you gonna do? Defend yourself with
Like-
a gun that you don't believe in?
I mean, like, what are
Like
you
the
gonna
fuck?
do? Are you gonna try to throw some fists because you're getting absolutely intellectually steamrolled by somebody with an IQ 4 times higher than yours? All right, we're going to move on to the next guest. Like, listen, guys, at the end of the day, that's the way that we see these conversations play out. Okay, so we have like the man-child join the stream, the man-child that supports like a ruthless tyrant. That's all talk, by the way, the man-child's all talk. And then when I'm like, hey, listen, here are like the really good reasons why you shouldn't support Trump. Like, for instance, he was held civilly liable for a court for the rape of Eugene Carroll, right? And then like when he's like, no, I don't know if I believe it. And then I try to give him like all of like the resources, all of the evidence, like everything that he needs in order to understand that like that claim is true. Well, then he's like, well, actually, Dean, I don't believe you. And now I kind of like want to knock you out. Like whatever happened to like civility in politics? The right spends so much of their time talking about like the political divide in the country and like how we lack unity, and like the headlines from like all of like the massive like GOP pundits, alongside even like the rhetoric that he was espousing, is how violent the left is. Meanwhile, the right like is now like threatening to like beat me up because I want to offer them education. Like, dude, holy shit, how did we get here? Listen, like, I'm so tired of like the violent man children, right, like running this country, and then the violent man babies propping them up, such as that guy. Let's go ahead and move on to the next guest. Hop in that cue of your MAGA. We're going to get you loaded up in here. They're just seriously like taught to hate everyone outside of their cult, everyone that disagrees with them. And if that guy like threatening to like try to like beat me up because I disagreed with him doesn't prove it, I don't know what would. But we're going to go to get that next guest loaded up into the box right now. Go ahead and hop in that queue of your MAGA. Very emotional outburst from a very emotional man. What's up? How old are you?
Do you hear me?
I sure do. Are you MAGA?
Yo, do you hear me?
I do. Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, awesome. Quickly before we hop into the debate, let me go and thank a couple people. Cinda, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo, Cinda. That is so incredibly kind of you. Cinda with a $50 says always appreciate. I need to finish reading the rest. My screen goes off after like 3 seconds. Cinda says always appreciate the work that you put into your streams and your knowledge. Thank you so much, Cinda. That is so fucking kind of you. Let's get 500 Cinda W's down below. I really appreciate you for your kind words and the $50 donation. As well as Gwyn, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. Callie, thank you for the $10 on Venmo. And Kennedy, thank you for the $10 as well. A huge shout out to Cinda, Callie, Gwyn, and Kennedy. And go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you're MAGA.
I would say probably the main reason why I support Trump is probably immigration policies.
Which one?
That's probably the main reason. I like what he did with the H-1B visa stuff, where he added a $100,000 fine.
And why do you like that?
Because I think that, the country should put its citizens first. I think that why should I be competitive against H-1B visa workers when American companies should hire American? Okay. I don't think that American companies should take advantage of systems like cheap labor out of the country, and they should take advantage of systems like H-1B visa programs.
Have we already had this conversation before?
About who?
Have we debated before?
No, we haven't debated before.
We have. I remember you. I think that we've already had like this specific conversation too. But anyways, everything you just said was absolutely insane.
I don't know.
So do you care about the prosperity of the American economy?
If other companies are getting higher GDP numbers, like more sales value going, I don't know if GDP equivalates to average American having a better life.
Well, I didn't ask you if GDP equivalates to the average American having a better life. I'm just asking you if you want the economy to be more
but I
efficient
know
or less
your
efficient.
argument. I know your argument. You're a faux sophisticate. I already know what you're going to spew.
So I actually don't think that you know my argument at all, considering the fact that you just told me that you've never debated me before. Right, but if you do know my argument, maybe that implies something else.
People like you.
But,
You're going to say that
people like me. So you think that you've debated other people with similar beliefs to mine. So therefore, you think
can I say what you're going to say? You're going to say
you can
that
identify like the argument that I'm going to give you based upon.
You're going to
based upon what one question. No, you don't know my argument. I'm going to go ahead and have you answer my question. Right? Do you care about like the efficiency and excellence of the American economy?
Yeah.
So then why do you want to make the American economy less efficient and less productive by focusing our hiring and firing not based upon merit or qualifications, but rather based on like country of origin or citizenship, right? Because the moment like you like advocate for the system to like forcefully like suppress like workers on H-1B visas inside of the American economy, right? And give preference for like American-born citizens. Point number one, you're just demonstrating a preference for having employees filling job positions that are not as qualified as other individuals that are interested in said same position. And point number two, you're going to be reducing the amount of high-skilled laborers working and owning businesses in the American workforce. Like for instance, when somebody comes into America on an H-1B visa and they spend 10 years working in our workforce, well, then they figure out that they really like it here. They like the economy. They like the network that they've built. So then they want to get residency or citizenship. They work towards a green card. Then they maybe work towards residency. And then they open up their own business. Or maybe if they have children, they'll send them to American University. And it's basically a way to hyperfixate on American excellence while offering a pathway to function inside of the American marketplace for high-skilled laborers and intelligent intellectuals and individuals that are really good at their jobs from all around the world. But instead, you're telling me that we shouldn't focus on American excellence. We shouldn't focus on like filling job positions with those in which are most qualified that want to work said position. But we should rather discourage, right, like foreign involvement in the American marketplace. We should rather discourage the brightest minds from all around the world working in our economy, going to our schools, opening businesses in our country, and like rather give a preference for less qualified American-born workers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that you hit the nail on the head there. I would say that overall, it's not just about qualification. These H-1B visa immigrants take a significant pay cut compared to natural-born citizens. It's for the corporation. The corporation is the one who wants H-1B visa programs. And they take pay cuts, and it's like, why should a student, an American student, work 4 years hard in university, and it gets less opportunities to be hired by tech jobs that benefit off living in America, operating in America? Why should those same tech jobs get all these H-1B visa programs, all these foreign workers? Shouldn't they hire Americans, especially if they're working in America? I mean, every country puts their citizens first. Mexico has laws like this. Mexico doesn't allow foreigners to buy property 50 miles within the coastline to allow Mexican citizens to be able to buy that property. A country should put its citizens first. You know, I don't think that's that crazy of an idea. If I'm born there, if I'm born in this country, I should benefit from this country. I shouldn't have to be competing with the whole world. No other country does this.
Okay, well, you're saying that the country should put its citizens first. Well, guess what? In turn of offering H-1B visa like programs coming into America and allowing individuals to work and function inside of the economy, and in turn making the market as a whole more productive and more efficient, you are in turn benefiting American citizens. Like you're over here like, oh, like why if I'm like born in America and I go to an American university and then I apply for a job, like why should that job be given to like somebody on an H-1B visa? It's because they're more qualified than you, dumbass. Like maybe you should like, I don't know, pick yourself up by the bootstraps, go back to school, get a PhD, and try to reapply, or like focus on going through a type of program to become a more qualified like laborer with better merits. Like I'm sorry that it's not my fault that somebody that's not from America is outperforming you at what you want to do, right? Like I like holy fucking shit. Like am I really having like a pro-capitalist conservative like whine and cry about not getting a job because somebody else that also interviewed for that position was more qualified than they are? Like holy fucking shit. Like were you guys not the same ones prior to the election like screaming and shouting from the tops of your lungs arguing that Democrats, right, don't care about your merits nor your qualification, and they just want to implement DEI and give individuals positions based upon immutable, unchangeable characteristics of their being, such as like race or gender. But now we actually hear, right, that same exact sentiment coming from you in turn saying that we should discard merit, we should discard qualifications, and rather put a preference on some immutable characteristic of being born in America. And then like even as it applies to being born in America, Donald Trump is trying to illegally infringe on the Constitution and take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born in this country. So what it sounds like to me is it has nothing to do with caring about American citizens, nothing to do with doing what is best for American citizens, since Donald Trump is trying to illegally strip citizenship away from citizens, but rather it just has to do with like the exclusion of immigrants and like a pro center on like white Americans. I don't know. That's just the way it comes across to me on a more subliminal level.
Well, Americans of any race, you know, Black Americans, Asian Americans, but Americans in general. And I already told you, these H-1B visa programs do take a pay cut. They do get paid below the minimum wage that an born American worker would make.
You just said that H-1B visas get paid below minimum wage. The average salary for an H-1B visa worker in America is
$106,000. I said below the wage an American-born citizen would make for that same job. They get paid below that. And overall, it's like, look, America's at a population of 300 million. Of course, I'm not going to be able to compete with China and India that have populations of 2 billion combined. I mean, this is just a ridiculous notion. Mexico has good laws on this. Europe has good laws on this. Why is it like so crazy that a country puts its people first? And America has always been excellent.
You
We don't have
just
the people in
completely
their land.
ignored my argument, right? You just completely ignored the fact that I was able to
said
successfully
I-
argue that allowing H-1B visas to like work and function inside of the American economy, that you're actively making the American economy better, not just for them, but also for their
For
citizens.
who?
Because when we allow, right, the free marketplace of high-skilled laborers to work and function in our economy, right, not only do we have the brightest minds from all around the world fulfilling these positions, we also in turn have them starting businesses in this country. We in turn have their children going to American universities, right, which in turn benefits the citizens of the country. And your whole argument hinges on the idea that somehow having H-1B visa workers inside of the economy hurts American citizens, when in all reality, the total net impact of H-1B visa workers, their future prospects, as well as their children, ends up inevitably benefiting the citizens. And by the way, you also just completely ignored the second argument that I gave related to how Donald Trump is like fucking citizens over by attempting to illegally take their citizenship away, such as how he did with Executive Order number 14160, where he argued that the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil are not actually citizens, even though the Constitution guarantees that right to them.
Oh yeah, birthright citizenship should be taken away 100%. I mean, no other country that's an insane notion that someone can just come over here and just have a baby and that could be a citizenship.
Wait, you said no other
Obviously,
country does this?
Most countries do not do this.
Yeah,
Most
thank you for
functions-
revising your claim, because we literally got common law birthright citizenship in this country from England.
Yeah, does England have that law today, though? Does England currently have birthright citizenship? Go
So
search it up.
I'm actually aware of the laws that England doesn't have. Okay, so you're arguing that we should emulate the legislation of England. Can you legally own a gun in England?
Oh, we should.
No. Listen. Ed, could you legally own a gun in England?
What kind of pivot is this, bro?
Oh, that's actually not a pivot at all, because you're telling me that we should do what England does. And if England doesn't have birthright citizenship, neither should we. So England also doesn't allow you to own a gun. Neither should we, right?
There's some aspects of England's legislation that I agree with. Some aspects I don't.
Right. So if you agree with it, then you want to emulate it, and then you want to appeal to the argument, well, all the other cool kids are doing it, so we should too. But if you don't agree with it, then you want to ignore it and say, even though all the other countries are doing it, it's absolutely terrible, and we shouldn't do it either.
Can we be grown-ups, please? I mean, you support...
Be a grown-up. Come to
birthright
terms of the fact and
citizenship.
address the fact that Donald Trump attempted to infringe on the Constitution and unconstitutionally take a right guaranteed to the children of undocumented immigrants born on this soil to citizenship.
Biden broke Article 2 with amnesty and giving DACA recipients work permits. What are you talking about?
So when did SCOTUS rule that Biden broke Article 2 with offering amnesty to DACA recipients?
Giving work permits to DACA recipients.
Okay, so like what court ruled that?
I don't know what court ruled that, but that's against Article 2.
Okay,
Also,
like
amnesty.
according to what court?
Do you know what Article 2 is?
Can you not off the top of my head? Can you point me towards like
Article 2
specifically
that
what
president's
Biden
not allowed
did?
to infringe on immigration policy.
Biden
broke that.
Can you point towards like exactly what Biden did? And exactly
I
like,
told
what
you,
court
he
ruled
got
that what he did was
those
illegal?
work permits. He also gave amnesty to Haitian workers.
Okay, so he
He
gave
also
DACA.
broke the student loan
So did he give
program.
like
He got
DACA
federal
recipients
credit.
work permits through like an executive order?
I don't know the means he did it. I think it was executive order. It wasn't through legislation.
Okay, so
So yeah, he broke Article 2 about that.
could you please like tell me the name of the executive order and what court ruled that it was illegal?
Give me a second. But overall, it's like, yeah, I don't care if Trump's
Can you
infringing
do
on
that? Can you name the executive order that was like unconstitutional, where like Biden gave work permits to DACA recipients?
Give me a second. Executive order. I don't know. It might have been under Obama too, but Biden did sign off on it. Forgot the exact name of the executive order.
Okay, I'm waiting.
I got it here. Deferred action for childhood arrivals. That was the executive order. And he processed 1.2.
Wait, that's just DACA.
Yeah, that's what I said. DACA work recipients.
Okay, so what executive order number?
I don't have the number.
Didn't DACA, wasn't that under Obama?
It was under Obama, but he renewed it under his term.
Okay, so you're saying that DACA is illegal.
I don't think the president's not allowed to give DACA recipients work permits.
Okay, so
I would say that's against Article 2.
so please name a single court that agrees with you.
The Constitution does. You don't even know what Article 2 is. Read Article 2. That would be against the provisions in Article 2.
So
Wouldn't
name
allow
a
that.
single court
Same
that
way.
agrees with you. So you're telling me
Constitution.
that under Donald Trump's full
Texas
first term,
versus United States.
so you're telling me that under Donald Trump's full
was a
first
judge
term,
before
okay,
everyone that
can I
challenged
talk?
Okay, fine.
So you're telling me that under Trump's full first term, right, not a single court under his DOJ, which by the way is now indicting James Comey, indicting Letitia James, indicting all of their political opponents. Under Donald Trump's full first term, right, they never once challenged DACA, right? Under Donald Trump's second term so far, they never once successfully challenged DACA. DACA is like still like legally in place today, right? Name like one single court, right, in which like
Texas.
ratified and annulled and overturned DACA.
Texas challenged Biden's executive order in giving DACA recipients work permits. A judge named Andrew Hasten or Hannon challenged that. So
Okay, so what's the name of the court case?
Texas versus United States.
And what was the outcome of the court case?
I want to say Texas won it in 2025.
The satisfied.
Oh, so wait, Biden did something unconstitutional? Oh.
Well, we're actually.
Yikes, bro.
So
Yikes.
we're going to look into that court case right now. The latest chapter in the long-running litigation challenging the DACA program, commonly known as DACA, in 2021. Let's see here. Relying on this court's previous decision, they found that Texas had standing to challenge DACA, but don't have a final ruling. The court accordingly vacated the ruling that it was substantially unlawful and entered a nationwide injunction, preserved to this day. We heed the final rule survivability clause and do not disturb DACA's policy of forbearance. Okay, so what it looks like to me is that DACA is still in effect. They placed an injunction on the ruling that it was illegal, and it is still holding up strong.
Yeah, so Biden did something unconstitutional with DACA work recipients.
Well, I mean, like from what I just read and what I understand is that we actually had the courts rule otherwise, and that DACA is still going strong and in effect today.
It's an ongoing another trial in January 2025. The Fifth Circuit ruling
Okay, so now you're saying that there's like still like ongoing litigation against it that hasn't been determined yet?
Texas got that judge just got a significant legal victory in the ongoing challenge right now.
Okay, so it's an ongoing challenge in the courts. Okay,
He looks like he's gonna win though. He's gonna win it.
Let me clear this one up for
And
you.
Biden did something unconstitutional with giving DACA.
Let me clear this one up for you, right? Because you just told me that the court proceedings are ongoing. They haven't been finalized. It is not clearly the case that DACA is unconstitutional nor illegal. Can I give you a better argument to use?
Sure.
Okay, what you should be using in this circumstance would be Biden's first round of student loan forgiveness, where he attempted to forgive student loans, but then had SCOTUS literally
That has
rule it
nothing
as
to do with
unconstitutional.
That has nothing to do with immigration.
But the only thing that is conceptually relevant would be him doing something unconstitutional. So you used a very bad example about like him renewing DACA because DACA has been longstanding, it's still in effect, and the litigation on the subject matter is still ongoing. What you should have used instead was Biden's first round of student loan forgiveness that was ultimately ruled as unconstitutional by SCOTUS, right? And here's the big difference. Right? Yeah, right. Checks and balances work. Sometimes presidents do things that are unconstitutional and they're checked by the courts. But what I find to be very clearly different about, like, for instance, what Donald Trump did with Executive Order number 14160 when he tried to ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants is it wasn't like unknowingly unconstitutional to himself. It is obviously unconstitutional to himself. The very clear text, plain language and case law of the first section of the 14th Amendment, right, have been long-standing since 1865 that undocumented immigrants have birthright citizenship, or more so their children born on American soil do, right? And the difference, I would say, is that, like, for instance, when Biden attempted to forgive student loans and that was ruled as unconstitutional, that was unknowing to him. And then when it was ruled as unconstitutional, he respected that ruling and then just found a non-unconstitutional legal way to do it. Donald Trump, on the other hand, he belligerently and intentionally infringed on the 14th Amendment with this absolutely disgusting executive order. And by the way, if you want to argue that this was not a belligerent and intentional infringement on the 14th Amendment by Trump, well, then you just have to defend the notion that Donald Trump is an absolute idiot. Because the only way that he couldn't have intentionally infringed on the 14th Amendment here would be to be an absolute idiot and, like, not read the 14th Amendment.
Okay, first of all, I did search it up. In January 17, 2025, the court did rule with the judge in Texas. So the judge in Texas does determine what they can do with DACA, but he hasn't decided what to do with it yet. So the court did rule in his favor. And overall, when it comes to the 14th Amendment, that's the amendment for birthright citizenship, right?
And I still think that the student loan forgiveness would be a better example because SCOTUS ruled it was unconstitutional. But still yet, you know, I don't know if you listened to my argument or not. It kind of sounds like you did.
I did, and it was an injunction.
Seems like an unintentional violation by Biden that he then respected the courts when they ruled it was unconstitutional.
Biden for that.
But then the difference was, like, Donald Trump, I believe, either intentionally violated the 14th in an incredibly belligerent and authoritarian manner due to its intentionality, or he's just a complete idiot.
But I respect Biden for that. I think the injunction was bullshit. I don't think that federal judges should have the right to do injunctions. I'm glad that the Supreme Court got rid of that. I think that's why a lot of people want to see a president who fights back and who has more power. I mean, that's why everyone's gushing over Greg Newsom right now. Or what's the guy's name out of California, the governor?
So can you respond to my
Gavin
argument
Newsom.
that, like, although Biden has done things that are unconstitutional, I would, like, argue that he did them unknowingly and unintentionally. Meanwhile, on the other hand, like with this specific example of Trump, I believe this to be like an intentional violation, right, of the American Constitution, more so the 14th Amendment, that he did so belligerently to attempt to circumvent around Congress to ratify and change it.
Well, you're saying that I have to say that Trump's an idiot if he didn't know that. Would you say that Biden was an idiot for not knowing that?
No,
Would you
because like
concede
what
that?
like clear text of the Constitution would clearly state that like the particular way in which he attempted to forgive student loans was unconstitutional. Like we don't have an amendment like just dedicated to making it unconstitutional to forgive student loans, but we do have an amendment that like clearly is dedicated to giving birthright citizenship to the children of undocumented immigrants born on the soil, like due to case law from like 1897 to 1987, on top of the explicit text of the amendment signed and ratified into the American Constitution in 1865, right? Like, for instance, the first section of the 14th Amendment literally says, right, all persons born on American soil and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens, right? So therefore, when Donald Trump is signing an executive order into law that says not all persons that are born on American soil and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens, right? It is either an intentional and belligerent attempt to infringe on the Constitution and play authoritarian, or is just like an absolute idiot.
Well, we'll see. Did SCOTUS rule in it on his executive order yet or no? I haven't been in the loop recently.
Yeah,
what did SCOTUS rule?
has ruled on birthright citizenship and who has it and who doesn't have it. First time being in 1897 when they explicitly ruled the three categories that individuals must necessarily fall into to not qualify for birthright citizenship. Those three categories being an indigenous American, a member of a foreign invading militant force, or a foreign diplomat.
No, but what happened with Trump's executive order? I assume that federal judge.
That U.S. versus Kim Wong-Ark ruling that I just gave you from 1897, right?
No, with
defines-
Trump's executive order.
Well,
With
yeah,
Trump's
it pertains to Donald Trump's executive order.
No, but is the executive order gets shut down? I guess. What is SCOTUS ruling?
So the executive order got shut down by federal courts, and then once again, right, case law from SCOTUS ruling on the subject matter of who does and doesn't qualify for birthright citizenship has been clear since 1897. As I just gave you.
But federal judges don't have injunctions anymore. Was it a lawsuit, state action? Like who challenged the executive order?
So
they don't have
they issued the injunctions, which then led SCOTUS to ruling that federal courts don't have the authority to issue injunctions.
So Can the executive order get passed?
And then they found like another way to ban it. But will you respond to what I'm saying here? Right? Can like you give a legal defense for the argument that the children of undocumented immigrants born on our soil are not citizens?
Look, constitutionally, no. But do I think that it's morally or
So you just said, look,
should happen?
constitutionally, no. So then you admit that Donald Trump was an idiot.
I think that Donald Trump was smart. I think he was brave for doing that. I wish that Biden went harder on student loans.
Wait, so you're saying that he's smart and
brave?
brave for violating the American Constitution?
Yeah, people actually want someone who's willing to break the rules. That's why Gavin Newsom's poll numbers are going up.
People want somebody that just throws the Constitution out the window?
Yeah, I think that people are tired of bureaucracies. Why do you think people bring in
So
power?
if you're not okay, if you are okay with the president violating the Constitution, then do you think that like the president should have to take that oath when they're sworn into office on Inauguration Day, saying that they're going to defend the Constitution?
No, I don't.
We should get rid of that oath on Inauguration Day.
I think if the Constitution's preventing a very popular policy in the American people, then the Constitution shouldn't stop presidents from signing.
Okay, all right. So yeah, the president should just be able to violate the Constitution. So would you support like a dictatorship?
More power. I don't know about dictatorship, but I think the president should have more power. Absolutely.
Like how much more power? Because you're saying that they should be able to violate the most powerful document in America, in the American legal system. So why wouldn't that just amount to like a dictatorship?
Maybe absolute power. I don't think that's that crazy to say. I think that, people vote for and none of our policies get passed. If a policy has 100% approval versus 0% approval,
so you do think that like the
30%
president,
chance
so
of being
you actually
passed.
do think that the president should be a dictator and have absolute power?
Should Trump be a dictator? I would love Trump to be a dictator. Absolutely, Trump to be a dictator. That would be fucking awesome, bro. What are you talking about?
My God. Oh my God, dude. Oh my God. I'm so happy that like no one else thinks like, I guess not a majority of the people think like you. Holy shit. Yo, dude, that one's for the books. I quote unquote would love President Trump to be a dictator. Honestly, do you think that we should just get rid of do you think that we should just get rid of like the 22nd Amendment while we're at it? Let him serve until he croaks?
Well, I think he should be king. And I think that Eric would be king next and then Baron.
Get your silly ass out of this live, bro. What an idiot. Oh my God. Yo, Randy, thank you so much for the $100 super chat over on YouTube. Thank you so much for the love, Randy. Dude, let's get 1,000 Randy W's down below in that chat for the $100 super chat. That is seriously so incredibly kind of you. Thank you so much for the love, Randy. It is so good to see you again. Chat, please show some love to Randy down below. Thank you. Thank you so much, Randy. As well as Scarlett, thank you for the $10 in super chat as well, saying, are we watching somebody use ChatGPT live? I don't know if ChatGPT would have told him that Trump should be a dictator, so I don't think so, but thank you for the $100, Randy, and the $10, Scarlett. Seriously, Randy, that is so incredibly kind and generous of you. Thank you so much for the love. Huge shout out to Randy down below. I would also like to thank Brianna for the $10 on Venmo, saying thank you for doing what you do. I think it'd be amazing to see you debate the same 20 Trump supporters in Jubilee again. I'd actually like to do another 1v20. I think that would be cool. As well as Joy, thank you for the $10 as well. Thank you so much, Joy. And then Sheila, thank you so much for the $20,000. Whoa. For the $20 over on Venmo, not the 20,000. Let's get 200 Sheila W's down below. Sheila says, I work in tech. We already pay roughly $40K throughout the team members' employment for H-1B visa transfers and help with the green cards. Why should we have to pay another $100K for the H-1B in of itself? Yeah, because Donald Trump wants to make it harder for us to have a thriving economy. That's why. Thank you for the $20 Sheila. As well as Lars, thank you so much for the $20 on Venmo. Lars with the $20 says DACA is still around, and I'm not sure what the issue is with it or why it's unconstitutional. Yeah, same. DACA is still around. So obviously it wasn't ruled as unconstitutional. Thank you for the $20, Lars. Let's get 200 Lars W's, as well as Elizabeth. Thank you so much for the $20 as well over on PayPal. And Michael, thank you for the 10. Show some love to Elizabeth, Michael, Lars, Sheila, Joy, and Brianna. I really appreciate you all so much for the love. You guys are awesome. And for everyone hanging out with us on TikTok, we have a live restriction, so I'm actually going to go ahead and restart. Here's how to come back after the restart on the live since we have a restriction. Right now, hit that follow button in the top left-hand corner. So once I end, you'll be able to find me on your following list once we're back up. But if you want a more specific set of instructions on how to come back, when my live ends, you will see, let me go ahead and pull up the picture here. Give me a second here. When my live ends, you will see this pop up on your phone screen. It will say live ended, and it will show you my profile picture. If you click on my profile picture, once it says live ended, it will then direct you to my account page. Once you are on my account page, count to 10, refresh, then click on that glowing red live orb around my profile picture, and you will be directed into the new live. These restarts like literally take 5 seconds. So I will see you guys like incredibly, incredibly quickly. Be right back, y'all. Actual Trump supporters. Hello, do you support Trump?
Hello?
Hey, are you MAGA?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
What year were you born in?
I was born in 2006,
What month?
December.
And why do you support the worst president of your 18 years of life, Mr. Donald J. Trump?
I don't just support him, I love him.
Okay, why do you love him? Kind of weird, but you know, whatever. Why do you love him?
Because he's with the Jews.
Okay.
I'm a Jew myself.
Okay, so you're saying that you love Donald Trump because he supports Jewish individuals.
Of course.
Okay, what has he done for Jewish individuals in America?
I mean, he's always helping us out with the Israel stuff.
Oh, so you're saying that you really support him because he's pro-Israel?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Well, guess what? I actually don't think that we should be supporting a country that's guilty for various war crimes, slaughtering innocent journalists, ethnically cleansing and displacing hundreds of thousands, if not millions, while committing an active genocide of tens of thousands. Right? I think that all those things should probably be red lines for allyship.
Yeah, I don't know. I just really like how he supports the Jews, and he's on our side, you know?
Okay. Your hat in your profile picture literally says "fuck Trump." You're a troll. We're gonna move on to the next guest. We got the real Derek loading up into the box right now. While Derek's loading up, Carolina, thank you so much for the $10 on PayPal. Carolina says, "Are you optimistic about the ceasefire?" Thank you. I love you. Well, I mean, I have some optimism. You know, like I was like hearing about like food and aid trucks going into Gaza today. That made me happy. But like ultimately, like I'm gonna like hold suspended judgment until we see what actually ends up happening. What's up, Derek? Do you support Trump?
You know, I did for the last two elections.
Okay. Do you support him today?
So I'm starting to back off a little bit. I mean, I still support the president, but there's a lot of stuff coming, and I don't like it, man. It's kind of making me feel funny, you know.
So let me just ask you this question, clear things up. Knowing everything that you do now, if you were teleported back to November, who'd you vote for?
It wouldn't be Donald Trump.
Okay. All right. So why are you MAGA? Why do you support Trump? Take it away.
I think originally when he came out and he sold the MAGA movement, he was trying to promote, going for the underdog on the conservative end, right? People that felt like their voices had been, that no one was listening to them, and they felt like they had a voice again. Someone was going to fight for the people. But I really think that just like every other politician, they get into power and, they get in the game up there and good old Netanyahu and some of them get their fingers into him. And the next thing you know, here we are. It's the same old song and dance.
No, I'm going to be for real. He was just as corrupt before he was president in 2016. Like literally before he won the presidency in 2015, he was advocating for a total and complete shutdown of all new Muslim immigration into this country, which is obvious religious persecution. And that was before he was even president the first time around. But I mean, I still don't really feel like you very clearly answered my question. So let me ask it this way. Can you give an argument that if Kamala Harris were to have won the election, things would be worse off today?
Yeah, absolutely. So the things were already headed into a downward spiral. Inflation was higher than it had ever been. Biden and Kamala, they didn't do a great job, right? Mm-hmm. I think since then the president's had a plan, economically to get us out. Now I don't think it's working as well as he thought it would work, but nonetheless, it was an alternative plan.
Yeah, okay. So you actually just lied. You said that, under the Biden-Harris administration, things were in a downward spiral. Every single macroeconomic variable, including inflation, was better a year ago than it is today.
Yeah, but previously to that, so if we go back a year ago, right, inflation was growing, right?
A year ago? No, actually. Inflation was going down.
By how much?
I think I just had it open. Let's take a look here. So a year ago in 2024, the rate of inflation was 2.9. In 2023, it was 4.1, and in 2022, it was 8%. So, inflation was going down.
Rates hadn't gone down yet, though. So inflation may have been slowing down, beginning to.
That's also not true. In the last year of the Biden-Harris administration, the Fed's cut the rates 3 times.
minor cuts, right?
I mean, more cuts than we've seen
Minor,
so
minor
far under
cuts.
Trump's term. They actually slowed the rate at which they're cutting the rates because of the inflationary pressures of Trump's policy.
Yeah, I just, Kamala Harris,
Kamala.
I'm from California. I'm 40 years old, man. So I remember when Kamala Harris was, acting attorney general there. She wasn't exactly the model that you'd put as president of the United States, man.
Okay, why?
Well, I mean, for one, she exploited an entire community, put men in jail for extremely long term.
Don't say the
she had
names of any DRUGS. Just heads up.
Yeah, she she had the opportunity to
So
review
the judge and the jury
evidence.
determines the judge and the jury would determine the conviction time for imprisonment of an individual, not a prosecutor.
But you believe the prosecutor, when they have evidence to the contrary, should they still prosecute?
If they don't believe that the person they're prosecuting is guilty, then they shouldn't prosecute them.
I agree. I 1,000% agree. And I think Kamala Harris had ample evidence of people that she knew were not guilty and prosecuted them anyways to get a
Like who?
notch in her belt. I'll have to pull them up. But
Like, wouldn't that actually fuck her over? Like, why would she prosecute somebody that is innocent? It would reduce her
it was a big deal.
rate of prosecution and make her look bad. I don't think that help her out at all. So what innocent people did she prosecute? By the way, I could name innocent
there
people
was
that
some
Donald
very-
Trump has prosecuted, like Abrigo Garcia, who he illegally deported to a prison in El Salvador, where he was beaten, tortured, and raped. Or another innocent person that his administration prosecuted was legal green card holder Mahmoud Khalil, who they had locked up in an ICE detention center for 3 months. Okay, so now you tell me, who are the innocent people that Kamala Harris prosecuted?
Wait. You're talking about the MS-13 guy that he sent back down to El Salvador?
Oh, yes. Just call him MS-13 and the story will go away. You know, what Donald Trump did was he superimposed the words MS-13 on his knuckles and then try to make the whole conspiracy theory like now he's doing today by calling Antifa an organization. Like, what the fuck? Yeah, you're just falling for the propaganda. But once again, the question remains. You told me that Kamala Harris is just not the presidential type because she knowingly prosecuted innocent people when she was Asia, California. Which ones?
Here, I'll pull them up. You want to give me a second?
Yeah, pull it up.
I remember the cases, man. I mean, I remember a guy, he had charges for nonviolent charges, and he was going to do, I forget what the term was, 13 years, bro, she gave this guy.
Now,
It
once
was
again, you're
ridiculous.
saying that the prosecutor gave a sentence. No, the jury and judge gives a sentence.
She went after it. It was...
So a prosecutor
it was
prosecuted a
crazy.
crime, right?
Yeah,
no,
we're talking
the
slap
horror.
on the wrist crimes, though, man.
Oh yeah,
I mean, these were,
you're talking. Yeah, the fact that the American criminal justice system will give such heavy sentences for slap on the wrist crimes that shouldn't be crimes in the first place, like the use of the M drug. You know what? Kamala Harris agreed with you when she was serving as a DA of San Francisco. She opened the very first work program for individuals that were criminally convicted of the use of the M drug, offering them to go to work instead of going to jail. That was the first program of its type. She laid the groundwork out for pressure on the decriminalization of the use of the M drug. But you're going to ignore that, right? You're also going to ignore the fact that in 2014 she said that we should federally decriminalize it, and then in 2018 when she became a senator for California, she tried to do exactly that by co-signing herself onto a bill to decriminalize the use of the M drug. And guess what? That bill never passed the Senate because of who controlled the Senate, that being Trump's Republican majority as it was under his administration. The only reason why the use of the M drug is still federally criminalized is because of the GOP, is because of MAGA, and because of Trump.
You think it's because of Trump? Well, I live in the state of Oklahoma, man, and we're a solid red state. There wasn't one county in Oklahoma that went blue during the election, and it's not criminal here.
I mean, good for you guys. I'm honestly surprised.
I'm serious. It's absolutely legal here. I don't think it's necessarily a GOP problem.
I guess. Well, I mean, Oklahoma does have a tendency to break away from the grain of MAGA sometimes. I think yesterday, one of the senators from Oklahoma openly criticized Trump for deploying the National Guard in Illinois. But holy shit, you still told me that you would never support Kamala Harris in a million years because you don't think that she's presidential material. What is the argument for that? I mean, what has she done worse than Donald Trump? And do you consider Trump to be presidential material? Considering the fact that he's boasted about perving on the naked bodies of teens, sexualized his own debate. So you did say that, but I mean, hey, maybe you misspoke. Who knows? What's up, Blake? Do you support Trump? Okay, Blake's not here. Go ahead and put a me with your age down below in that chat if you'd like to come up and have a debate with me about why you support Trump. And if you're watching and you're enjoying what you see, you want to support me, you want to support the studio and the stream, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in that bio. But let's go to get that very next Trump supporter loaded up into the box right now. Go ahead and hop in that queue. If you are hard right MAGA motherfucker, we'll get you loaded up. We'll have a good conversation. We got Jessica connecting to the stream. And while Jessica is connecting to the stream, I'd like to thank Kali. Thank you for the $5 over on PayPal. Did you see Fox News claiming that Antifa militants have been attacking people and have safe houses? Yes, dude. It's literally like national delusion. Oh my God. It's insane. What's up, Jessica? Do you support Trump? Jessica's not here, so we're going to ban her and move on to Devin Scott. Here we go, folks. As well as Rachel. Thank you for the $10 on Venmo, saying he needs a reminder that Trump paid for a full-page ad asking for the death penalty for 5 innocent young men. Holy fuck, Rachel. I wish I would have thought of that. Damn, Rachel, you cooked. That would have been a great counter-argument to what he was saying. As well as Donica. Thank you for the $10 over on Venmo, and Sierra with the $10 as well. Thank you, Sierra and Donica. While we're looking for that next Trump supporter, literally right now, please show some love to Sierra and Donica down below in that box. Thank you guys so much for your kindness, seriously. Yeah, guys, go to put a me with your age down below in that comment section if you're MAGA and you want to come up and have a conversation with me. We'll happily get you loaded into the live literally right now. As well as Brian. Thank you for the $15 over on PayPal. Thank you. Brian says, hey, Dean, curious what routines you stick to stay sharp and sane when debating these goobers. Just daily research on what's going on in American politics. Every single morning, I have a routine of like checking all outlets for new info. What's up, Malicious Mitch? Do you support Trump?
Quite frankly, I'm a Neanderthal.
And quite frankly, you're banned. Guys, please don't troll. We're like seriously just looking for debates, and I would really appreciate if you guys would like just respect that. And yeah, I mean, if that's you, if you're MAGA, hop in that queue. What's up? Are you MAGA?
Hello?
Hey, do you support Trump?
Hello?
Hi. Do you support Trump?
No, but I mag you.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for coming up, man, but we are just looking for some debates, quite frankly. Did he just say I met you? Okay, well, now I kind of feel bad if I met you. You know, W. But we are just looking for Trump supporters. Let's go to move on to the next guest. Yo, Heather, thank you so much for this $6 and this 66 cents on Venmo saying you rock, Dean. Thank you, Heather. Show some love to Heather down below in that box while we're still looking for that next Trump supporter. I'm actually going to go to put the rules back up on screen. Just keep in mind, guys, if you're not following the rules, like I'm gonna kick you like incredibly quickly. And I just wish that like everyone could just have a little bit of respect for the rules. Okay, only join if you're 18 plus, American, MAGA, and ready to debate. We're gonna keep that up on screen. Honestly, we're gonna keep it on screen. Hey, what's up? Do you support Trump?
I do, but I have a question real quick.
How old are you?
Who are your top 10 favorite presidents? Wait, did you say how old I am?
Yeah, how old are you?
20.
Okay. What year were you born in?
2005.
Okay, so why do you support Trump?
Wait, real quick, I have a question for you. Who are your top 10 favorite presidents?
Obama. Then Obama. Then Obama. Then Obama. Obama supremacy forever. I'm just kidding. Why do you support Trump? Okay, well, he just left. Moving on to the next guest. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the queue. Holy shit. Come on, guys. Why are we not following the rules? Why? Why are we not following the rules? Come on. Please just follow them. Please. Come on, guys. You're gonna make me you're gonna make me angry. You don't want to see me when I'm angry. I need to stop fucking around. Okay, what's up, Concert? Do you support Trump?
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
What year were you born in?
2006.
Oh God. Oh my God. Why do you support Trump?
Well, his beliefs on the Bad Bunny situation at the Super Bowl really just won me over, so.
No fucking way. Okay, so instead of Bad Bunny, do you think that we should have like a popular American artist perform instead?
Yeah.
Bad Bunny is a popular American artist.
Well, I was thinking like Netspend.
No. Listen to what I just said. Bad Bunny is a popular American artist. Did you know that Puerto Rico's a part of America?
Yeah, but he doesn't.
It's American territory.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually one of the most popular American artists. I'm actually surprised he hasn't performed at a Super Bowl halftime show yet.
What?
He is one of the most popular music artists.
I know. He's popular.
Right,
I was just hoping for someone better, like, you know.
What's up?
Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, can you like disconnect any Bluetooth devices that you've connected to your phone, like a headset, headphones, AirPods? Just talk to me through the phone mic. It'll be about 1 billion times better.
Hear me now?
10 out of 10. Okay, how old are you?
20,
20? What year were you born in?
2005,
Yeah, what month?
June.
June? Okay, all right, you'll be 20. You'll be 20. Jonathan, why the hell do you support Trump?
Yeah, I mean, I think they just do that just to make clout for it.
Fox News is like
Yeah.
like a right media source. Like Donald Trump's favorite news
Yes.
source is Fox News. Why would Donald Trump's favorite news source be run by Democrats?
Because every Fox News, like every news station, is always ran by Democrats.
Okay,
They always
that's
say-
just wrong. I'm so sorry, man, but you're just like objectively incorrect. Newsmax, Fox News, and others are like obviously
they're
not
100% with Democrat.
You said like MSNBC, CNN. Yes, obviously they're Democrat, but like in the same way that Fox News is obviously Republican.
Yeah, but it depends on what Fox News. There's multiple Fox News.
Like no, the Fox News. The Fox News, the national reporting Fox News.
That's not liberal.
Okay, so that's Republican?
Yes, but I'm talking about like Fox News
Okay.
12. And like
Okay, so then why would Fox News be lying about his criminal counts? Look at that. Can you read that headline for us?
I'm reading right now. Let's see.
Can you read it out loud for us?
Which one? You talking about the top one or the bottom one?
Bruh, dude, it literally says recommended video. That's not the fucking headline. Read the headline.
Yeah, but all right. I don't care about it. Who's talking about Fox News. Like, I'm not talking about Fox
Because
News.
you
I'm
said
talking
that
about,
the
like,
Democrats like came out with headlines and lied that he's a felon.
Yeah,
but,
I'm talking
like,
about. Yeah, I'm talking
but like
about
this
he's
is like
lying.
this is like a
you guys are lying
Republican
about he has
source saying that he's a
felony.
felon.
Yeah, he has felonies about. You guys are lying about it. Like he's saying he is a rapist. Like I don't know.
Okay, I'm gonna kick him. I'm sorry. I just don't think that Jonathan is intelligent enough to have like a cohesive debate with me. We're gonna get that next guest up in here. I'm really sorry if like that disheartens any of you guys. But like I'm just not gonna do that to myself. Like I'm like literally just like cortisol maxing today. Like this is like fucking insane. Hey, what's up? Are you a Republican? Are you MAGA?
No, I support nuts.
You are banned. That's what you are. We're gonna go and move on to the next guest. I swear. I swear. I can't even speak. I swear to God. Okay, if we don't get back on track with the debates, I'm gonna end the stream early today. I'm starting to lose. Stand up if you disagree, and then no one stood up. You know what that would tell you is that MAGA is dead and everyone fucking hates Trump. Okay? So honestly, I'm going to need you spineless Trump supporters to stop being so scared and to hop in that queue and to come up here and debate me, right? Because guess what? Right now, it just looks like MAGA's dead. Y'all are extinct. Donald Trump has no support whatsoever, right? And everyone in the country is turned on him. That is honestly what it seems like right now, because I like have explicit rules for this stream. I say only join if you happen to be a Trump supporter. We'll get you loaded up in here. Next thing I know, we don't have any Trump supporters for like the last 32 minutes of the stream. Zero. None. Right? So it's like, I guess MAGA really is extinct. But let's go to move on to the next guest, guys. Only hop in that queue if you're an American adult that's pro-Trump. I'd really appreciate if you guys could please follow the rules and stop trolling. Like, I'm going to be honest, y'all, it is like really fucking annoying. But let's go to get that next guest loaded up in here right now. We got Brody connecting. Holy fuck. Yo, Erica, thank you so much for the $25 over on Venmo. 1 second, man. Erica with the $25 says, thank you for doing what you do. You help my partner and I in our daily debates with family and friends. That's awesome, Erica. Thank you for the $25. You're awesome. Thank you. Dude, huge shout out to Erica down below. Chat, we've already debated B-Money before. What's up, Brody? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Yeah, how old are you?
19.
Okay, what year are you born in?
2006.
Okay, you said that with a question mark at the end. Are you lying about your age?
No, sir. May 11th, 2006.
Okay, I'm gonna go to thank a handful of people, and then I'll allow you to make an argument here. Just give me a second. Leo, thank you for the $3 over on Venmo. Jonathan, thank you for the $10, saying that last guy doesn't represent all Jonathans. L guest, thank you for the love, man. Jamie, I appreciate you for the $5, and LJ, thank you so much for the $10, and I appreciate your work so much. Thank you so much, LJ. Dude, huge shout out to all the donors. Thank you guys so much for the love. Go ahead and take it away, man. Tell us why you're MAGA.
Well, I just don't think there's a better choice, you know?
Okay, so you don't think that Kamala Harris was a better choice last November?
I do not. As a Christian, I just don't think I can support her, you know?
As a Christian, she was the only Christian candidate in the race. What do you mean you couldn't have supported her?
But her ideas and her policies just don't reflect as a follower of Christ.
Okay, so like which ones? Like the ones like where she wanted to cut the taxes of like low and middle income Americans to reduce income inequities. That didn't like teach like that didn't like follow the teachings of Christ in like Psalms 32, where he was like, what you give to those that have less than you will be given back to you, given the glory of God in the kingdom of heaven. Like obviously not.
Whoa.
Or you know, like when Jesus made Matthew the tax collector like quit being a tax collector before he made him into a disciple. That's obviously an example of like, you know, how Kamala Harris would be following his teaching, right?
No, yeah, I agree. I don't think Trump's fully. I don't think Trump's the best choice either. I don't think that I think out of all the choices, Trump was the best.
So what?
But I don't.
What policy did Kamala Harris run on that was just like so anti-Christian?
I just think the abortion policy is the
No,
biggest thing.
advocating for legal access to abortion is not anti-Christian.
I just think as a Christian, I can't support the mass genocide of babies.
As a Christian, you can't support like women having the ability to do what they want with their bodies. Okay, listen. Here's my question. So, is Kamala Harris evil in the sense that she thinks women and girls should have the free will to access abortion?
I wouldn't say evil. I think there's. Well, actually, I would. I'd say.
Okay, wait. So then God is evil for thinking that women and girls should have the free will to access abortion.
Well, no, I think the whole world is just full of evil.
Wait, no, God specifically. God specifically here would be evil because God thinks that women and girls should have the free will and ability to access abortion.
Well, I don't think God would support abortion.
Does God think that women and girls should have the free will and ability to access it?
I disagree with that.
Okay, so then why do women and girls have the free will and ability to access it? Didn't God give that to them?
God gives free will to humans, and that's why there's so much evil.
So then why would God give something to humans that he doesn't want humans to have?
Well, I think that as humans, as followers of Christ, we have to be able to follow God's will, and that's
not
God's
what I asked you. That's not what I asked you, because I asked you, is God evil for thinking that women and girls should have the free will and ability to access abortion? And then you said, no, God doesn't think that. But obviously God gave that to them. So my question for you is, by giving them free will.
Well, God gave free will to murder innocent civilians.
Oh, okay. So now you're just saying that God also. So you're saying that if God allows somebody to murder somebody else by giving them the free will to do it, God's not evil. But if Kamala Harris allows women or girls to access abortion by giving them the free will, legally speaking, to do it, then she is evil. I mean, I just think that this kind of rings up like an apparent contradiction in your view.
Okay, that's fair. We can move on. Well, I think obviously having sex before marriage is a sin, and that's where the majority of abortions come from, is having sex outside of marriage. And yes, there's cases of rape and incest, which I don't think you can allow that while also allowing just anyone to have an abortion for it being their own fault.
Yeah, you're just digging yourself a deeper grave here. Now we're going to talk about that too, but before we do, I need you to answer to the argument I gave you. You affirmed that you think abortion should be legal because it's a sin. You affirmed that all sins in the eyes of God are identical, and then you affirmed that you don't think it should be illegal to tell your children that Santa Claus exists even though it's a sin, right? So what I want you to answer to is the incredibly clear contradiction where you are saying that this one sin should be illegal because it's a sin, but this other sin shouldn't be legal even though it's a sin, while also primarily affirming that all sins are equal.
Do you
address the contradiction?
When do you think life begins?
I mean, I think that biological life begins at the moment of conception, but that is not answering to the apparent contradiction I was able to point out in your argument of wanting to run a criminal justice system and a legislative body off the commandments of the gospel.
Well, I'm getting around to it.
So then get around to it, please.
I am. You think life begins at conception, right?
Yeah, so I think that biological life begins at conception. That's true.
And do you think ending a life at all is morally, or is obviously legally right?
Ending life at all is legally right? That's not a grammatically structured correct sentence. Are you asking me if I think it's wrong to end life?
Yes.
No, I don't think it's wrong.
Illegal.
I don't think it's wrong to end all life. I think it's wrong to end most life, especially human life, right? But not
Especially
all.
innocent life, right?
I mean, it depends.
Innocent
On,
life.
it depends on what you mean by innocent.
Do you think just going out and killing a person in the street should be illegal?
Yeah, of course.
I agree with that.
Okay.
You think that? So how is that any different than killing an innocent baby?
Well, the difference would be the expression of subjective experiences, the existence of a mind, and the inaction of consciousness, right? And that's what I find to be morally valuable, and that would be the difference between a unicellular human zygote grown inside of a woman's uterus, right, and an individual like you or I actively like living and experiencing our livelihoods, right? But like, Brody, I gave you a very specific argument to combat your view on like how, right, you applying your conception of Christianity here, right, to the criminal justice system is incredibly contradictory. And then I asked you to address the argument. And then you asked me if I think that life begins at conception. And then I was like, yeah, sure, I think that life begins at conception. And I was like, how is this relevant to the argument that I gave you? Then you were like, oh, I'm going to get around to it, right? But then you just continued to ask me more and more questions, and you never got around to addressing my argument to refute your view on why you think that abortion should be illegal. So Brody, stop running away from the view. Address the goddamn argument, please. Once again, that argument is, and I quote, you said that you think all sins are identical, and you said that because abortion is a sin, it should be illegal, while also saying, even though lying to your children about the existence of Santa Claus is a sin, it shouldn't be illegal. I want you to address that contradiction. Because if all sins are equal, then you can't say, because one thing's a sin, it should be illegal, and even though another thing's a sin, it shouldn't be illegal. What basis would you have to treat these two sins differently if they are both identically morally wrong to one another? Can you unmute, Brody? Respond to the argument, my friend.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. So obviously you can't base government off of religion because there's multiple religions in this country. But at the same time, lying's not a crime, but murder is. So I'm just saying, how is murder outside of the womb any different than murder inside of the womb? Because it's a double homicide if you kill a pregnant woman, right?
Okay, so, well, we're going to finish addressing the argument that I gave you, and then we'll happily go over your critiques of my position, but you just keep running away from my arguments, and it's kind of like honestly obnoxious, Brody. And I want this to be a good, like, productive, awesome conversation, right? So you just told me, in response to my argument depicting, right, the logically contradictory issues with you using Christianity to govern a criminal justice system, you responded to that by saying, well, we shouldn't be able to use, right, Christianity to govern a country. Okay, so then why are you legally pro-life?
The question is, how do you still support Trump? And I'm saying how I still support Trump. I don't fully support Trump. I don't think Trump is a good person, in my opinion.
No, bro, once again, you're running away from the... Like, what the fuck are you doing? Can you follow, like, one line of dialogue? You're not getting around to it. Last time you said that you're getting around to it, you just completely ignored my argument and then started, like, trying to, like, speculate about my view and asking me why I value somebody like you, but I don't value a fetus. I very politely answered to it and I explained it to you, but you completely used it as a pivot and you completely ignored my argument, right? And I think that even you know that you're ignoring my argument. Like, you're almost like doing it intentionally, right? So I'm just going to go and catch you up. Once again, you told us that abortion should be illegal because you're Christian and you think it's a sin, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Okay, then why do you think that abortion should be illegal?
I'm saying I don't support abortion because I'm a Christian. That is my reasoning.
Oh, so
I don't think it's...
Brody,
sorry, go ahead.
I'm going to go ahead and play the stream back. I just want you to listen to the last like 10 seconds of nonsense that you spewed out of your mouth. Again, you told us that abortion should be illegal because you're Christian and you think it's a sin, right?
I'm not saying that. I'm saying...
Okay, then why do you think that abortion should be illegal?
I'm saying I don't support abortion because I'm a Christian. That is my...
Brody, really?
I mean, that is why I don't support Kamala Harris, because she supports abortion.
Brody,
and as a Christian, yes.
I said, so you think abortion should be illegal because you're a Christian and you think it's a sin. Then you responded by saying, Dean, I'm not saying that. And then I asked you, then why do you think it should be illegal? And then you said it's because you're a Christian, you think it's a sin.
That's why I don't support abortion.
Okay, so then the reason why you do think abortion should be illegal is because you're a Christian and you think it's a sin, right?
Yes.
Okay,
because I don't support it.
So then doesn't this contradict what you told me 5 minutes ago when you suggested that we shouldn't be able to use any given religion to govern a country?
But the question was, why do I support Trump? Not why do I think this is legal?
I'm really confused now. I'm just simply asking a question. I want you to respond to it directly. You told us that you think abortion should be legal because you're a Christian and it's a sin, while simultaneously telling us that you don't think that your Christian values should be able to govern what is legal or illegal. Is that not an apparent contradiction, Brody?
I never did. I say it should be illegal?
Did you?
I don't think so. I'm saying I can't support Kamala Harris. I morally don't agree.
So
abortion, I cannot.
Wait, so you think it should be legal then? You think like women and girls should be able to access it?
I don't think that. But
So
that's
you do-
my opinion.
What? So you do think it should be illegal? Brody, you're all over the goddamn place. What the fuck is going on? Brody, you are seriously.
Let's just leave the abortion behind. Can you go back to
you
Trump?
you are like just dragging me through a fucking mess of like nothingness. Like what the hell is going on, Brody? Brody, can you please
Can you
like
convince me
explain
not to
this?
support Trump? Can you convince me not to support Trump? Because I'm open to it. I'm open to it.
I could try my very best, but it's like I don't think that like your brain is thinking in a logical manner.
I don't. Listen. Okay, we're gonna completely scratch all that because I guess I'm just not educated enough on that. But listen, I'm saying I think Trump, in my opinion, I think Trump is the best option. I don't agree with everything he says. I don't think he's that great of a person, but I think he's the best choice there is. I want you to convince me not to support him. I want you to convince me that he's not.
Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and just kind of play off something we've already learned here from you, which is that you're a Christian, you value Christian ideals, and you want to see those Christian ideals represented in your government. I'm just going to completely ignore it when you said that you don't want to see your Christian ideals represented in your government, because that would just completely throw this whole line of dialogue off. Okay, all right. So now we're going to sit back and we're going to evaluate which candidate was A, Christian, and B, represented the more Christian ideals, comparing Kamala Harris to Donald Trump. First and foremost, the only Christian in that race was Kamala Harris. She was a self-described Baptist. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was a self-described non-Christian when he told us all in 2018 that he's never asked God for forgiveness for anything that he's ever done in his life before.
I agree with that.
Repentance being a necessary act of having a relationship with God, meaning that Trump is not a Christian. Now looking at and evaluating the policy of both candidates, right, I would say that Kamala Harris's economic policy was incredibly pro-Christian because it supported helping those that are the worst off among us, giving tax cuts to low and middle income Americans, increasing the child tax credit to reduce childhood poverty, making it easier for first-time home buyers to buy a house. Those are all things that are in alignment with Christianity. Donald Trump, on the other hand, his economic policy is like literally derivative of fucking Satan himself, right? Once again, we see it in Psalms, we see it in Matthew, we see it in James, we see Paul write about how important it is to God, if God exists, that you are providing to those that are more needy than yourself. In fact, we even see it made explicitly clear in Matthew that the way that you treat the most needy among you is the way that you're treating the Lord your God. Donald Trump has been absolutely hurting the most needy among us to inconceivable levels by taking healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans when the lack of access of healthcare kills 40 through 60,000 people per year in this country. He's absolutely hurting the most needy among us by taking food stamps away from 3 million American families and by reducing the purchasing power of over half of Americans per projections by the CBPP on the outcome of the big, beautiful bill. Okay, he's also hurting us disproportionately more the poorer you are by imposing tariffs, which then inflates the price of goods, and you spend more on consumption, the less money you make proportionate to your income, meaning that you're disproportionately paying that tariff tax. He is hurting low-income Americans, and that is a fact. So once we look at their economic policy, Kamala Harris's economic policy was pro-Jesus. Donald Trump's economic policy is pro-Satan. Moving on to other policy, let's talk about, like, for instance, immigration policy, right? Donald Trump's immigration policy is so, like, anti-Jesus and pro-Satan that the goddamn Pope of the Catholic Church, Pope Leo XIV, has been speaking almost every day at this point about how atrocious it is and how bad for human rights it is and the absolute abuse of valuable humans created in the image of God, at the hand of the Trump administration. Right? Like, for instance, I'll even just give you a little bit of a comparison here. You told us that you're pro-life, right, because you're pro-Jesus or whatever. You think that the fetus deserves the right to live. So would you say that if a pregnant woman tortured, beat, and starved, right, a fetus growing inside of her uterus, that would just be, like, so gravely immoral?
I agree. I think ICE takes it too far sometimes, but I think that I don't think it's worth it to have them like all that.
Can you answer my question?
Can you hear me?
If a pregnant woman tortured, beat, and starved the fetus growing inside of her uterus, would you say that that is a grave, heinous act of immorality and evil?
Yes.
So then why don't you call it a grave, heinous act of immorality and evil when the Trump administration illegally deports Abrigo Garcia to CCOT, where he was tortured, beat, and starved?
Was he not in the gang? The MS-13 gang?
Okay. So now all of a sudden, right, it's actually not gravely immoral that he was illegally tortured, beat, and starved by the Trump administration.
I think,
and in fact, he
I agree
rather
with you.
deserved it because you're just going to assume that he's a part of MS-13. You know what? If we could just write off heinous acts of immorality according to your perspective by labeling those in which it's being impeded upon as members of MS-13, for all the women and girls out there that are considering getting an abortion, when you do, just make sure to tell your doctor, friends, and family that that fetus was a member of MS-13.
That's really funny.
I mean, you seriously have just as much evidence and reason to believe that Abrigo Garcia was a member of MS-13 as you would have to believe that a fetus that a woman is aborting is a member of MS-13.
Well, I don't think anybody getting deported should be beaten and all that. But I do think that, I mean, Obama deported people too. I think as a country, you have to be able to have safe borders and deportation. But I don't think that it needs to be in the manner that it is done. And that's one of the things I disagree with Trump on.
I actually don't know if Christianity would tell you that. Should we deport citizens?
No.
Then according to the Bible, we shouldn't deport non-citizens.
But as a country, you have to.
Okay.
To keep it safe. Do you not agree with that? Do you not agree that some people
So
need to
now
be
you're
deported?
seeing that our country needs to do something that the Bible tells you not to do.
Well, if you can show me somewhere in the Bible that it says, do not deport somebody. Or
Yeah, no, I
know
got
it
you.
says-
So Leviticus 19:33 through 34 says, when a foreigner resides among you in your land, do not mistreat them. The foreigner residing among you in your land must be treated as your native born. Love them as yourself, for you were foreigners in Egypt. I'm the Lord your God. Right? And you told us that we shouldn't be able to deport like native born citizens. So therefore, according to God, we shouldn't deport undocumented immigrants. Yeah, I just gave you the best argument of all time. My source was fucking God. Dude, let's go. Dude, they call me up in this guy. Appreciate you.
No, I mean, like, I don't think that Trump is like all this. Like that dude earlier that said he should be a dictator and a king.
Nah, listen, respond to my literally godly argument, okay? Respond to Jesus, sir. You told us that we shouldn't be able to deport native-born citizens. Jesus says you need to treat all foreigners that reside in your land as you treat native-born citizens, meaning that according to Jesus, you shouldn't be able to deport undocumented immigrants. Respond to God's argument.
Do you think we should just let everybody in?
Okay, I don't know. Go ask God.
Okay, but like it also says.
Like, what are your thoughts on God's argument? No, respond to God's argument. Come on, bruh.
But you're taking it out of text. If you look somewhere else in the Bible, you can just say, follow your country's laws. It says that in the Bible.
Okay. And so what's the context of Leviticus 19:33 through 34 that makes it clear when God says to treat foreigners in your land the same as the native born in the land, but the context just somehow describes that that's actually not true at all? Like where can we read that?
No, I'm not saying that, but I'm just saying you can also make the argument that you have to follow the country that you reside in, their laws. It says that. Just as it says a slave needs to respect his master. I'm saying you have to come into the country legally. It says that in the Bible too. You have to follow the country's laws. You not get that?
So, assuming everything that you just said was true, wouldn't this just mean that there's a contradiction in the Bible?
No.
I think it would, right? Because Leviticus 19:33 through 34 very clearly says, right, that you have to treat, the foreigners among you the same as you treat the native born, right? But then we have law that says, right, you're supposed to treat them differently. Would you agree that
I didn't say that. I did not say that.
Would you agree that this law of our country would contradict, right, the text of the Bible?
But I didn't say that you shouldn't treat them right. I said they have to follow the laws.
I said differently. Can you answer my question? Can we agree that like the legislation of the state that like calls for treating undocumented immigrants differently than citizens, right? Very like clearly would contradict what God says here in Leviticus 19.
Yes, I completely disagree with treating anybody wrongly.
Not just wrongly, but differently.
Yes.
Okay, all right. So let me ask you a question: who's right and who's wrong? God or the laws of the state?
Obviously, God.
Okay, so So you would say that we should change and update the laws of the state to reflect what God wants, right?
Well, no, but I'm saying.
Wait, we shouldn't. Wait, whoa! I want you to listen very closely to what you just said. You just said we should not change our laws to reflect what God wants. Do you stand on that?
We should not. You, as a country, you cannot. I'm gonna obviously say treat them right. As a Christian,
It's not just treat them right. You keep on making that equivocation. It's treat them differently. Like God here in like Leviticus 19 doesn't say, right, merely it's wrong to treat them wrong, but he also says it's wrong to treat them differently than you would treat the native born from your country. So which one are you going to pick and choose? Are you going to choose to serve Trump, right, and support his mass deportation, which very obviously contradicts what God wants, because God tells you to not treat foreigners any differently than native-born citizens? Or are you going to choose to follow God, right, and not believe what Trump wants to do, which is clearly contradicts what God wants, as Trump says that we should treat foreigners differently than native-born citizens? Which one? Are you going to hell because you want to follow Trump? Or are you going to go to heaven because you want to follow God?
Did you not hear me?
I didn't. Who are you going to choose to follow, Trump or God?
God.
Okay. And
I've already said I completely disagree with Trump.
In choosing to follow God, you agree that we should not be treating foreigners in America any differently than native-born American citizens. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree that mass deportation necessarily treats foreigners or undocumented immigrants? I like that term more. Foreigners is just what the verse in Leviticus says. Yeah. Would you agree that mass deportation would treat undocumented immigrants differently than citizens?
I've already said that. I've already said I disagree with the policies and the way the ICE treats the.
So therefore, you disagree with the deportation of undocumented immigrants. Thank you.
Yes, I've already said that. Yeah,
okay.
Completely.
Okay, so now you've agreed that Donald Trump's immigration policy is anti-God.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, not anti-God, but obviously, Scripture.
And who inspired the Scripture?
No, God is the word. Yeah, it's obviously anti.
Thank you.
That still sin. Yeah.
Anti-Scripture, God is a word. Anti-God.
Yeah. Anti-Christian beliefs. I'll say that.
Okay, so it seems like I made a very compelling case for you to understand exactly why I think that Donald Trump is the furthest thing away from a Christian or in representation of Christian ideals leading our government.
I wouldn't say he's the furthest thing from a Christian, but I would say, yes, his policies.
Well, definitely further away than Kamala Harris, right?
I don't know about that. I don't know. I want you to tell me, other than Kamala Harris, who should I support as a president?
Wait, can you give me as compelling of an argument to what I just gave you about Trump for Kamala Harris? Like, I was able to like critically examine his immigration policy, his social policy, his character, and his economic policy, and I was able to like argue with nuance how these things are incredibly anti-Christian. Can you do the same thing for Kamala Harris and like maybe like one or two of her policies? Can you do that for me, my friend? By the way, I can't hear you when you're off app.
Hear me?
Yeah. So can you do that for me? Can you like give me like a couple like really nuanced and like good arguments to demonstrate how like, you know, multiple policies that Kamala Harris ran on were like incredibly anti-Christian?
Can I look something up real quick?
Yeah, for sure. Go ahead. While you're looking that up, Scarlett, thank you so much for the $20 over on Super Chat on YouTube. Let's get 200 Scarlett W's in that chat. Scarlett says, I'm so brain rotted. Every time you say Among Us, the little spaceman flashes in my head. Thank you for the $20, Scarlett. That's pretty funny. Show some love to Scarlett down below in that box. If you're watching and you want to support me, you want to support what we do here, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio. I get 100% of the proceeds over on those platforms, as well as I can read off your message and give you a shout out. Let me see if there's anyone else here. There sure is. Caitlin, thank you for the $3 on PayPal. Carol, thank you so much for the $15 over on PayPal. Carol says, can you ask the guest, I'm not Christian, so why should his beliefs be superior to mine? Why is his religion who dictates what I can or can't do with my body? Well, I mean, he actually agreed that it shouldn't. And then when I pointed that out, he's like, oh, we got to move on. As well as Megan. Thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal as well. Let's get 200 Megan W's. Megan says, as the mother of a nonverbal autistic child, I get so scared for her and the future of this country. You and your supporters give me hope. Thank you for what you continue to do, Megan. I'm so happy that you could take something positive away from my stream. And huge shout out to you and your daughter. As well as I'm just proud of you. You know, I'm proud of you for being a good mom and caring about your kid. That's something I wish I saw more often. Thank you so much. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, I mean, just like, I didn't even think about this, but the blatant support of the LGBTQ. I know you're going to say love everybody, which you should, but
yeah,
you can't
how's supporting the LGBTQ plus community anti-God?
Because just blatant, I mean, obviously, do you agree that LGBTQ is blatantly against God?
No, I actually don't.
No, I actually don't.
Do you think it's like a sin to be
lesbian? Absolutely.
Echo?
God has set up a simple...
Echo?
And
1 second.
Can you
Go in and out of the app. Oh god, that echo's pretty crazy. Oh, now I gotta click on this topic too. Yeah, man. So where in the Bible do we learn that it's a sin to be lesbian?
Because God sets up a simple and exactly structured family life, and that's a husband and a wife. And God tells you to get married. God tells you to have a husband and a wife, and He tells you to recreate and have children for His glory. It also says in multiple verses, do not.
So if you don't have kids, you're committing a sin.
I wouldn't say committing a sin, but you're not living out the structure that God has planned for us. And
wait, would you say that's like morally wrong?
I wouldn't say morally wrong because some people just don't want to have kids, but
oh yeah, you know, one of those people like literally includes Jesus. You know that he was celibate, right?
Yeah.
Wow. So the only perfect human that has ever lived didn't have kids.
Yeah, he died at 34.
Oh, wow. Yeah. It looks like you're going to have an uphill battle arguing that it's wrong to be lesbian, given that lesbians can't naturally conceive kids with their partners.
Well, they shouldn't have a lesbian partner.
Yeah. Why is it wrong to be lesbian? Where in the Bible do we learn that? Give an argument, my friend.
It says do not perform acts of homosexuality. That is why He destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. That is one of the main reasons that God destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, was because of the homosexuality going on in that.
Really? Because if you actually read the story of Sodom and Gomorrah, I forget, it's either in Genesis 1 or Genesis 19, you'll actually learn that the individuals in Sodom and Gomorrah were guilty of literally raping angels, okay? And the reason that God destroyed the cities rooted in the Bible was because the people in the cities literally raped His angels, not because they're engaging in acts of like consensual same-sex intercourse. Not to mention, right, that in wartime, you know, like 6,000 or 7,000 years ago, referencing stories such as Sodom and Gomorrah, right, a way that like the victors would emasculate, humiliate, and like hurt the losers would be for the men that were victorious to literally grape the men that were not victorious, right? Meaning that it's immoral not because it's like same sex, but rather it's immoral because it's literally grape. So it sounds like you don't really have too compelling of an argument for me. Not to mention, right, that now you are equivocating your position to engaging in same-gendered intercourse. However, your original claim is that it is wrong to just be attracted to the same gender, such as being lesbian. So I will once again ask you for an argument for your original claim to justify that having same-gendered attractions, being lesbian, is morally wrong.
It says in the Bible, do not participate in homosexuality.
Okay, well, first and foremost, it's not something that you participate in, it's something that you are. Right? Like, I have blue eyes. Am I participating in having blue eyes? No, I just have blue eyes. So, like, where in the Bible, like, what verse, for instance, does it say it's wrong to be a lesbian?
Here's how I see it. You work out. You work out. I've seen some of your like gym stuff. You go to the gym to put on this muscle and to gain the strength. You don't just have the muscle and the strength. You go to the gym and you put that on. You choose to do that, and that's what's the word? That's a result of that work and of that choice to go to the gym. You get that.
You've been looking pretty good recently. I'm putting the muscle.
You're
Anyways, so what verse in the Bible says it's wrong to be lesbian? I think we're getting a little bit off topic here.
Look at it. I know it's in the Old Testament.
Oh, okay. What verse? Dude, I feel like I could do these debates in my fucking sleep. I've been talking to homophobes on this app for literally years. If you like want to know like the one thing that I've been doing for years on this app, it's been debating
Leviticus 18:22.
Oh, Leviticus 18:22. So you think that the book of Leviticus in the Christian Bible is an accurate depiction of God's moral law?
You said that earlier.
Oh well, I'm not even a Christian, dude. Like, you're the one that follows the scripture, the Bible, not me. So I'm asking you this. We're on an internal critique here. So do you think that the book of Leviticus in the Christian Bible is an accurate representation of God's moral law today?
The entirety of the Bible should be applied to your life. That's why we read it. Yes,
okay.
I agree.
So should you apply Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 that says you may buy male and female slaves from those among you to your life? Should you become a slave owner?
Okay. It talks about slaves a lot in the Bible.
Ooh, yeah, particularly for Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 explicitly says it's something that you may do and argues that it's morally permissible. So do you think that owning slaves is morally permissible because Leviticus tells you? Do you think it's like wrong to be lesbian just like it's right to own slaves? Damn. See, now all of a sudden you have a really like uphill battle. Now in order to argue that it's wrong for two women to kiss, you necessarily have to also argue that it's just totally okay to own a human as property for life. By the way, that's explicitly what what Leviticus 25 verses 44 through 46 says. Let's go ahead and pull them up. 25, 44 through 46. I'm actually going to pull them up on my screen, and then I'm going to have you read it out loud to the class. Is that something that you could do for us?
I'm not going to read it out loud.
You're not kidding. Whoa, sir. There is close to 20,000 people hanging out in us with a stream today. Are you telling me that with the biggest platform you've likely ever been able to speak in front of as a true devout Christian, you are not going to share the word of God?
I'll read it.
You will. Okay, awesome. So let's go ahead and get that one loaded up on screen. Dude, just be patient. Let's go to settings. Let's go to image file. Click that. Go to throw it up. Go to read that for us, my friend.
All right, one of my friends was texting me. Okay, pull it a little more left.
There you go.
A little more left. I can't see the right part of it.
Go ahead and read that for us.
Your male and female slaves are to come from nations around you. From them you may buy slaves. You may also buy some of the temporary residents living among you and members of their clans born in your country, and they will become your property. You can bequeath them to your children as inherited property and can make them slaves for life, but you must not rule over your fellow Israelites ruthlessly.
Yeah.
And that's where...
So it's a caste system of chattel slavery, where if you're not an Israelite, then you could be owned as property for life. But if you are an Israelite, you can't be owned as property for life. And this is coming from Leviticus 25, 6 books after Leviticus 18, in which you used to argue that being GAY is wrong. So once again, I just want to affirm that in the same way you are pointing towards Leviticus to derive your moral conclusion that it's wrong to be lesbian, are you also going to necessarily point towards Leviticus 15 to draw a more conclusion that it's literally right to own slaves?
Obviously, I don't think it's right to own slaves.
Okay, so then you disagree with Leviticus 25?
Well, that's where the slave owners in early America got what they think was okay from the Bible.
Actually, they did use the Bible to try to convince the enslaved individuals that it was okay. You're right, but completely irrelevant to the argument. So you don't follow Leviticus 25, just to clarify.
Yes, I follow the Bible, but I'm not...
Well, now you got a contradiction, because in one breath you're telling me that you follow the Bible, but in the next breath you're telling us that you disagree with the Bible. That's contradictory. Yeah, see, so like I would say that like your best course of action would be to argue that like the old law was fulfilled by Jesus's coming. He ended the old law and begun anew. Right, and that's why you look towards the gospel for your moral commandment. Like, I'd say that's like probably like the most common Christian response that I hear to this. But see, if you give that common Christian response, then you're basically telling us, right, the moral principles that we learn in Leviticus 25 are like null and void, which would obviously make the implication that so are the moral principles that we learn in Leviticus 18 verse 22, which you said implied that it's wrong to be gay, right? So from that perspective, your only path forward would be to accept that it's actually not wrong to be lesbian. And guess what? you're a heretic if you think it's wrong to be lesbian, and we could get on to that argument next.
What does that mean? Heretic.
You think that God's imperfect if you think that it's wrong to be lesbian.
That's not true.
Oh yeah, no, it absolutely is. I could give you that argument next once you respond to my first argument.
That God is imperfect. What was your first side?
So the argument that I want you to respond to is the fact that if you like believe in Leviticus, such as you do when you quote Leviticus 18 to argue that it's wrong to be lesbian, you'd also necessarily have to believe in Leviticus when it tells you that it's okay to own slaves. Right? Obviously, you don't want to do that. The only response that I could like conceive of that you'd have here is just to argue that like the Old Testament's kind of null and void given Jesus is coming. He ended it and started a New Testament, and that's why you point towards the gospel, not towards Leviticus. But if you do that, then your argument for why it's wrong to be lesbian is also null and void. That's what I want you to respond to.
Well, we have to follow the law no matter what, and that includes the old and the new. But when Jesus died for us, when Jesus died for us, he erases the. I'm trying to think of the exact word. I know there's the moral code. What do you know? What the other one is?
Funny enough, I know what you're talking about, but I don't know like what the phrase is to refer
But you know
to
what I mean.
either. But are you basically telling me that you do think it's okay for people to own slaves?
I do not think that. I've already said that.
Okay, so then you don't follow the moral commandment of Leviticus.
But that's not a moral commandment. That's a.
Yeah, it was. It was God speaking to Moses.
I mean, I'm not a scholar on the Bible. I've just recently given my life to Christ, so I don't know this, but.
Okay.
Like, I don't know how to get into
You
this.
just want to leave that argument there. We can move on to my next one. My next argument being that if you think it's wrong to be lesbian, then you think God is imperfect.
How? In what way?
I'll happily explain that. Did God design you when you were in your mother's womb?
Yes, but he gives us free will.
Okay, right. I know. So is God's design perfect?
Yes.
Okay. So if God designed you in your mother's womb and God's design is perfect, that means the design of yourself is perfect as well, correct?
He designs the body,
right?
And then
the body.
We get the soul. We get the soul to perform free will.
I'm talking about the body here, my friend.
Okay.
So God's design of the body is perfect, correct?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, guess what? According to multiple scholars, scientists, and scientific research papers, it is a case that there's very distinct differences between the neuroanatomy of gay men and straight men. Like, for instance, gay men possess a larger anterior commissure when compared to straight men, an anterior commissure being the nerve lining between the two hemispheres of your brains. They also possess varying traits of the AINH3 subsection of the hypothalamus with different levels of dendritic density and different levels of certain neurohormones such as FSH. We also see different correlations along one's genetics, such as rooted within the XQ23 chromosome, where we see an association in gay men that we don't see in straight men. What this tells us is that there's very clear and distinct biological differences between the neuroanatomy and biology that of gay men and straight men that would predispose them towards their hard-coded, unchangeable sexual orientation. If you accept the Christian worldview and you accept that God designed our bodies, God designed our biology, and God designed our neuroanatomy, then you are in turn arguing definitively that God designed the very distinct and clear differences in the biology and neuroanatomy of gay men compared to straight men, meaning God designed them and predestined them to be gay. If you argue, therefore, that being gay is wrong or being lesbian is wrong, even though it was a predestination given the intentional design of God, then you'd be arguing that the predestination and intentional design of God is imperfect and wrong. In arguing that the design of God is imperfect and wrong, you are in turn also necessarily concluding that God himself is imperfect and wrong. If you conclude that God is imperfect and wrong, that would make you an anti-Christian heretic.
Did you not say that there's no difference in the neurological thing between straight men and gay men?
Oh, no, I said that there was a difference. We see the difference rooted within the size of the anterior commissure. We see the difference rooted within varying traits of the AINH3 subsection of the hypothalamus to do with dendritic density and like levels of neurohormones, as well as we see different associations on the genetic code, such as rooted within the XQ23 chromosome. These are the biological facts in which would hard code our sexual orientation into us. Okay, being lesbian, being gay, it's not a choice. Okay, it's not something that we can opt into. It's not something that we can opt out to. In fact, our sexual attractions have nothing to do with our own free will, as they are completely driven by underlying biological facts of our being, right? Those facts, under your view, being designed intentionally by God. And if these facts are intentionally designed by a perfect creator, then they in turn are perfect as well.
So wait, let me ask you this. You think that somebody, a grown man who's sexually attracted to children, you think he's just born like that? There's nothing you can do to change that?
So now you're talking about the sexual attractions of P3DOs. I don't know where the science lies on that right now, but what I would argue is even if that's something that, like, for instance, given the science would dictate that he is uncontrollable over, well, then I don't think that we should treat it any differently because of the harm that it generates. Like irrelevant of like the biological facts, if that was like chosen or unchosen, I don't think that we should treat it any differently because of the harm that it generates. And right now I'm like unaware that of there existing any science to clearly determine that there's like certain biological indicators to generate like attractions towards children the same way that we have like very clear scientific discoveries that demonstrate the biological basis for sexual orientations differing from being straight, such as all those that I just gave you, comparing like gay men to straight men. But I don't know the science on it. I don't think that there's any science on it to demonstrate like a biological underpinning for like attractions towards children. And like it's like usually described as like a mental fucking illness, a derivative of perversion.
It's still a sexual attraction though, and you said you don't choose to be sexually attracted to men if you're a guy. So then how is it they're not sexually attracted to?
I said that we don't choose our sexual orientations, and I think that like those sexual attractions are derivative of like mental illness, and that's like the univocal agreed to scientific consensus that it's not rooted with any like hard-coded biological fact derivative of our sexual orientations, but rather derivative of like literal mental illness.
So then if it's differences in the brain, like you said, neurologically...
What I'm saying is I don't think that those exist. Like, would you be able to give me a study to demonstrate that there's like a different biological foundation that for like a sexual orientation of like being a P3DO compared to not?
Well, I doubt there's many pedophiles going out there saying volunteering to a...
Right, so then you're trying to make an argument that you have no evidence for. And why the fuck are you equivocating gay people to pedophiles, you weirdo?
I'm just saying, like, if you're saying it's sexual attraction, you're born with it. How is sexual attraction to children any different than sexual attraction to men?
How is a sexual attraction to children any differently than a sexual attraction to men? Oh, consent. One is consensual, one is not consensual. Thank you so much.
How is it any different being born with it? You're saying you're born with your sexual attraction.
Exactly. You're trying to just pre-assume things that I've said are false, right? So what I said individuals are born with in the context of being gay or being lesbian would be the unique biological underpinnings and which would predispose them to said sexual orientation that they cannot control and that they did not choose. However, when we start talking about P3DOs, right, I believe that the science is different in the sense that being a P3DO is not a sexual orientation that is driven by unique biological underpinning, but rather a perversion of mental illness. I think that's where the science lies. Hopefully that's going to be like the last time I'm going to describe that to you.
Well, that's what you believe.
One is a sexual orientation, one is not a sexual orientation. Like being a P3DO is not a sexual orientation.
Yeah, you said you believe that. So how is that any different than me saying I believe that it's the same as being born with it?
You don't have any evidence for your claim?
People develop... I can't exit out of that, but look up the statistics. How many gay people and transgender people are fatherless?
Being gay has nothing to do with being transgender. They're like two completely different things.
That was my whole argument.
Wait, are you saying that like your sexual orientations are a choice?
Yes.
Okay. Can you choose to be sexually aroused by me right now?
Can I choose that?
Yeah.
I think my choices in my life have caused me to not be able to choose to be sexually attracted to you.
Wait, so you're saying that you can't choose? So then it's not a choice. If it's not a choice for you, why do you think it is a choice for other people?
Choices in my life, just like I said earlier, you choose to go to the gym, you choose to do that, and the result of it is your muscles. You choose to live a life of God, and you choose to pursue Him every day, and you choose to be straight, and then that's gonna end up.
Yeah, Brody, what you're perpetuating right now is like vapid homophobia that has resulted in generational trauma amongst millions of individuals because you're a bigoted POS that would not like to reflect on what is true of reality, but rather what is true of your own bigotry and your own prejudice. You like deplorable POS, right? And I'm just going to go ahead and prove it to you real quick. So conversion therapy was really popular in this country from the 1960s until 2011 when the last big conversion therapy, what was its name? Exodus International finally shut down. And the implementation of conversion therapy in this country is a perfect representation of exactly what you are saying. The notion that if you choose to live a godly life, the notion that if you choose to live a pro-Jesus life, then you will like not possibly be attracted to members of your same sex or gender, and you're rather going to be possessing attractions towards the opposite sex or gender, right? However, the outcome of conversion therapy was univocally that we cannot change people's sexual orientations. You cannot opt out of being gay, very similar to how you cannot opt into being gay. In fact, the owners of these big conversion therapies, including Exodus International, were all self-described ex-gay men themselves, arguing that their methodology had worked on them, and therefore they're going to make sure that it works on other people. But guess what? Every single one of these large conversion therapies ended up closing their own doors, and then their founders end up coming out and apologizing to the LGBTQ plus community, stating that they actually are still gay, right? The conversion didn't work on them. They lied. They just simply suppressed their sexual attractions, and that they apologize for their crimes against humanity, right? There's absolutely no data, there's no reason, there's no science, and there's no evidence to justify anything that you are saying is true, okay? Every single claim that you're making about one's ability to derive a sexual orientation out of conscious choice is in fact definitively been proven false by science that I've already suggested to you on this live stream, such as associations within the XQ23 chromosome, such as associations within the size of the anterior commissure in one's neuroanatomy, such as associations within varying traits of the AI-NEH3 subsection of the hypothalamus. You are telling me that if you make particular choices, then it will like result in the outcome of a particular sexual orientation. Sir, can any amount of conscious decisions change the associations on your chromosomes or change the size of the anterior commissure in the human brain?
Can what?
Can any amount of conscious decision from yourself change the literal and physical associations along your genetic code?
You can't change your genetics, but it's not in your genetics to be gay.
Oh, well, you can't change your genetics. Well, actually, we do see genetic associations of being gay, like as I already pointed out, on the XQ23 chromosome. So if you can't choose your genetic associations, right, your associations along your genome, right, and we do see associations along your genome that would relate to your sexual orientation of being gay, such as on the XQ23 chromosome, then it is the case that you can't choose being gay. And honestly, the fact that you told me that you couldn't choose to be sexually attracted to me should prove it, but for whatever reason it doesn't.
I said I could choose. Like I could watch. All right, I'm not okay. I could go and watch gay porn every day, and eventually I'm going to be attracted to men. Do you not agree with that?
Brody, I don't agree with that.
You're telling me if you go and you just force yourself to only interact with men and just like sexually interact with men and watch gay porn, you're telling me you won't eventually become attracted to men because you're choosing to. If you're trying to,
I'm telling you that, man. You know, generations of gay men and lesbian women prove this. You know that, right? So are you not familiar with like the thousands of stories of like gay men marrying straight women to try to force themselves to be straight, right? But then like 30 years later, they end up divorcing their wife because they're like, I can't do this, or I'll never be forced into being straight, and I never was. Like that has happened like hundreds of thousands of times. So like no, forcing yourself to like watch like porn or like be in a relationship with somebody that is like outside of your supposed sexual orientation will not change your sexual orientation. Brody, what it sounds like to me is if you're telling me that like you could, right, be attracted to men if you were to watch enough like Pagorn. I think this speaks towards maybe something different within yourself. Like I'm not trying to be like vindictive when I say this either. This isn't supposed to be a dunk, but I feel like these are the types of attitudes that we see from like homophobic, suppressed, closeted, like gay or bi men.
Really? Wow.
Yes,
well,
no,
yeah,
it
but
is. It is. And I'll tell you why, right? And like I said, I'm not trying to come after you. I swear to God, I'm not trying to come after you. But like the reason why, right, like having suppressed like same-sex urges generates this outcome is because from your perspective, it like literally does seem like a choice. Right, you are subconsciously making the choice to suppress those sexual attractions, right? Which then leads you to the conscious idea that, well, you could choose all of a sudden to be attracted to men, when in all reality, you're just now making the conscious decision to stop subconsciously suppressing those attractions. And that's why, like, we have like many studies that demonstrate that you are significantly more likely to be like consciously homophobic, given that you are a closeted gay or bi man compared to a straight man.
When have I ever said I'm afraid of gays or I hate gays?
Okay,
Or
well,
LGBT?
yeah,
I've never said that. How am I homophobic?
I don't.
I'm gonna
really-
love everybody no matter what.
You have no right to call gay people gays. You completely forfeited that right a very long time ago. You should not be calling gay people the gays, especially if you're going to be like so significantly homophobic.
I don't hate gay people. I don't fear them. I don't see how I'm a homophobe. I love everybody.
It's because you hold prejudice against gay individuals.
I don't. I want them to turn to God. If you turn to God and you give yourself to God, He can take away any sin, anything you're living with. That's the way. It's not with any studies. It's not with anything. You turn to God and you give your life to Him. If you turn to Jesus Christ, that's how He rids you of your sin, of the lifestyle you're living. It's not by a study. It's not by anything. You have to fully submit yourself to Him and want to pursue Him and have a change in your.
Oh yeah. Well, I thought that we've already gone over this. I'll go ahead and go over it again because like you're just not getting the concept, little boy, Mr. Brody, little man. We already went over how you actually couldn't point me towards a single verse in the Bible that says it is a sin to be lesbian. Okay, that is an assumption that you are making and in turn transposing on the scripture, and I think that's sick. Okay, and then second of all, you understand that there's been millions of people that have had this same idea forever. In fact, I want you to respond to the argument that I gave you about the conversion therapies. Brody, what are your thoughts on there being years of conversion therapies being open to hundreds of thousands of people in this country from the 1960s until 2011 when Exodus International shut down, that were not able to successfully convert a single person, and the founders of every single one of these conversion therapies that claim to be ex-gay men themselves eventually shut down their respective conversion therapies and said that they were still gay and that they apologized for their atrocious crimes against humanity.
You can't force anyone to change their sexuality. They have to make that choice themselves. They have to. I've said this already. They have to give themselves to God. Christ died so that we can come to Him in our lowest points and being LGBT.
So once again, so you're just ignoring everything that I just said and instead preaching your prejudice. You know what, Brody, I think that you're really sick for this. I've already described how you don't have an argument that it's a sin in the Bible. I've already described how like this thought process has been tried and proven to not work for generations. But then you just continue to repeat yourself, Brody. It's sick. Like you're just preaching your prejudice. This isn't of Jesus. This isn't kind. You know, like imagine if you, right, were like born into a body that possessed these biological like factors that led you to be gay. And then you had to listen to like silly little 18-year-old kids named Brody on the internet tell you that there's something inherently wrong with you, that there's a choice that you've made in your life that has resulted in the perversion of same-sex attractions. And all you have to do is to follow God and you will be forgiven. But if you're not forgiven and if you don't follow God, you're going to spend the rest of your life burning in hell for something that you didn't choose, you can't control, harms no one, and it's just simply a variation of the human experience within reality. I just think it's just really unfortunate that these thought processes still exist, right? But maybe like one nice thing I'll say here to you is because you're just still really adamant on this idea that you could choose your sexual attractions. Do you think that you could choose to be attracted to a chicken?
I mean, have you never heard of bestiality?
Can you? Can you choose to be attracted to a chicken?
I'm sure.
Yeah, Brody. What?
I mean, people.
I'm talking about. I'm asking you if you could choose to be attracted to a chicken.
If I can?
Yeah.
I wouldn't choose to be attracted to a chicken.
I'm not asking you if you would or not. I'm asking if you could.
Well, now you're comparing it back to when you said earlier you can't choose to, or that pedophilia. You're not born with it.
I don't know why we're talking about pedophilia. I'm asking you if you could choose to be attracted to a chicken.
Because you said my argument was invalid because it's different
listen,
than.
Dude, we're not even arguing. I'm just asking you a question. Could you choose to be attracted to a chicken?
Yes.
Brody.
What?
Hide your fucking chickens. What the fuck, dude?
When have I ever said I was gonna be a
What, Brody? What is going on? Why are you saying this? What dude?
There's sick people in the world.
Apparently you're one of them. Apparently you're one of them, Brody. What? Buy the chickens, Brody. Do you know anyone in your life that owns a chicken? Do you know it? Can we get like a CPS call? Not Child Protective Services, Chicken Protective Services. Hide the chickens. Call CPS Chicken Protective Services.
That was funny.
Okay, Brody, come on, bro. You listen. Drop the act, dude. Drop the act. You know that you can't choose your sexual orientation. You know that's some bullshit, Brody. Just drop that act, dude. Let it down. You know that you're arguing some bullshit right now.
You keep muting my mic.
Yeah, I'll keep on doing it because you're just spewing bullshit. Like, holy shit, let me cope.
All right, there's just no winning with this. Everybody, Jesus loves y'all. Turn to him before it's too late. He's coming back soon.
What are the first 4 books of the New Testament? I didn't know. We're going to go and move on to the next guest. Let's go to get the next guest up in here. By the way, I like how Brody admitted at the end that there's no way of winning. Yeah, it's because you're wrong. Have you ever considered that before, Brody? Maybe there's no way of winning a debate when you are wrong. Just a fucking thought, my friend. Moving on to the next guest. Holy shit, we have so many donations from so many kind people. Starting off with Myra. Thank you so much for the 140 Canadian dollars over on Super Chat. Myra, holy shit. Thank you so much for the love. Myra with 140 Canadian dollars says, your defense of me and my community has made me cry. Thank you so much for your allyship. I came out in 1984 when I was in high school, and I've experienced a lot of homophobia over my lifetime, including from my own mother and father. Thank you, Dean. Myra, listen, I'm going to say this to you, and like everybody else that is watching that has had similar experiences. I'm so fucking sorry that humans have to be so incredibly corrupted by ignorance, prejudice, and anti-intellectualism to the extent where like generations of us have been so incredibly harmful and damaging and in advocation of suppressing, right? Like sexual orientations, one's attractions, just because they're different from being straight. Like, man, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, I feel like if we lived in a perfectly rational society, differences in one's sexual orientation would be looked at no differently than differences in like one's color of their eyes. You know what I mean? It's just like humans have a problem with identifying traits of somebody else that are different than the traits that they have, and then holding prejudice towards them because it's different and it's something they don't understand. And that was like really beneficial for us in like the caveman days of like not wanting to go into a dark cave at night because we don't know what's in the dark cave. Maybe there's a tiger hiding that's going to kill us, right? But like anymore, that like instinctual reaction, derivative of evolution, just serves as such a great disservice to like millions, billions of people for so many different reasons, you know, spread out across things like racism, homophobia, so on and so forth. It's unbelievable. What's going on? Do you support Trump?
No, I was just wanting to let you know
I'm so sorry. I do have to kick you just because we are only looking for Trump supporters. But seriously, Mira, thank you so much for the 140 Canadian dollars. As well as Latin for Liar. Thank you so much for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Thank you, Latin for Liar. Latin for Liar with a $50 says, Dean, Chicken Protective Services. I'm working in my office and that had me laughing out loud. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you always. Thank you so much, Latin. Let's get 500 big Latin W's down below in that comment section. I really appreciate you for your kindness. As well as Nate, 22 minutes ago, with a $200 donation over on Venmo. Holy shit, Nate. Let's get 2,000 Nate W's down below in the chat. That is so much money. That is so fucking kind of you, bro. Holy shit. Nate with the $200 says, as an oncology pharmacist, I try to kill cancer every day. Your work of killing ignorance is harder, and I respect that. Sending good vibes from Cincinnati. Thanks for fighting. Nah, man. What you do is hard. I really appreciate you for the work that you do, Nate. Thank you so much for the $200. That is seriously so kind of you. Let's show some massive fucking love to Nate down below. And what's going on, Orla Grace? I sent you an invite to unmute. Do you support Trump? Okay, Orla Grace is not here. We're going to move on to the next guest. As well as we have like quite a few donations that I didn't read off because I was in the middle of that last debate. I'm just going to thank you all real quick. Haley, thank you for the $10 on Venmo 25 minutes ago. Nikki, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo, saying thank you so much for pointing out the hypocrisy with some Christians. I appreciate that, Nikki. Thank you for the $25. Aaron, thank you for the 10. Jessica, thank you for the 5. Lake, thank you for the 10, saying W Dean Fun. Thank you for the love, Lake. Elise with a 5. Elena with a 5. Thank you so much. And Charlie, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Thank you, Charlie, to CHARLI. Charlie with a $50 says, and I quote, you are 20 years my junior, but I seriously want to be you when I grow up. Your arguments are amazing. Keep up the good work. Dude, Charlie, that is so fucking kind of you. I really appreciate your support, as well as the support of everyone else in here. I just love you guys so much. Y'all are all so cool. Let's see 500 Charlie W's down below in that chat. As well as Shauna, thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo, saying, hide the chickens. Lights are on, but nobody's home. I don't even know if the lights were on, man. Thank you for the $10, Shauna. You guys are awesome. Thank you guys so much. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah.
Okay, how old are you?
22.
All right, I believe you. Let me see if I have anybody else here to thank over on PayPal. Travis, thank you for the $2 on PayPal.
Wait. Oh. Why do you believe me?
I don't know. You just have a.
I just look jacked in my profile picture. Is that it?
No, it's more so like you have a deeper voice.
Oh. Why, thank you.
Okay. Do you want to tell us why you support Trump?
Yeah, I'm largely due to his pro-life policies.
Okay.
Before I get into that, can I ask you a question?
No, I'm going to finish thanking.
No. Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Katie, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Katie with the $20 on PayPal says, you give me hope for younger generations. You are brilliant. Keep up the good work. Thank you, Katie. Thank you. Thank you guys so much. As well as Erica with the $3, Jennifer with a $1, Travis with the $2, Erica with another $3. Thank you guys so much. If you're watching and you would like to support me, you can find my Venmo and my PayPal in the link tree in my bio on TikTok, as well as in the pin message of that YouTube stream. I get 100% of all the proceeds over on Venmo and PayPal, compared to around 30% on TikTok and 30% on YouTube, as well as you could attach a message that I could read off on live and give you a shout out. I appreciate everyone so much for all the love today. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
Yeah, just before I get into that, I just want to say if there are any single moms out there into 6'1" brunettes who have curly hair and are jacked, I'm right here. If you want a real man to take care of you, just shoot me a DM, ladies. But my question was going to be, if you were on a boat and you have a girlfriend, right? If me, you, and your girlfriend were on a boat and it was sinking and there are 5 great white sharks, 7 tiger sharks, 20 bull sharks, you, me, and your girlfriend fell into the water and we're about to get our limbs shredded by sharks, who would you rather save? You have an option to pull your girlfriend or me out of the water. Who would you rather save?
Well, I mean, I'd pull my girlfriend up. You said that you're what, like 6'1" and jacked? I mean, I think that you'd be enough food for the sharks while we got away.
Oh, come on, dude. Now, does that mean your girlfriend is more valuable than me?
From my perspective,
as a human being? Wow, dude.
I absolutely.
I think honestly, I think your girlfriend
I absolutely
and myself
think that my girlfriend's more valuable than you from an interpersonal perspective.
Huh.
I mean, do you not think that your own family members are like more valuable than non-family members from an interpersonal perspective?
Well, now does that just mean I should be torn apart by sharks because I'm just not as valuable as your girlfriend?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I completely disagree with that. I think I have
you're just running a trolley problem on me, man. Like, sorry, you know, like what's like that? Listen, what do they call it? Wait, 1 second. Go ahead. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No. Follow through. Go ahead.
No. I'm gonna work on it. No. Go ahead. Keep talking.
No, dude. I want to do your thing, brother. Do your thing, brother.
So why do you support Trump?
To do his pro-life policies. I just said that.
Okay. So what do you support about his pro-life policies?
Well, like, firstly, I'll start off by saying, would you rather?
Go ahead.
Would you rather, if you had the option to save either...
Why are you asking me options to save? Just tell me why you think abortion should be banned.
Because I think the abortion is the unlawful termination of human life.
Do you mean to say unjustified termination of human life? And why do you think it's unjust?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's unjustified?
Because it is the murder of innocent human life.
Okay, and so the definition of murder is the unjustified termination of human life, and I'm asking you why abortion is unjust, and you're saying it's because it's murder, even though murder's like self-defined as unjust. So in other words, you're just saying it's wrong because it's wrong. Do you have any non-circular arguments to demonstrate why you think abortion is morally wrong? No, don't leave yet. No, why did you leave? Why did you leave, man? I was in the middle of doing something. I was in the middle of like making a great joke and I really wanted you to be able to see it, but you left too soon. Have you guys ever seen like those memorial necklaces that like people will make for like unfortunately like family members that pass away? He was like asking me like, oh, like would I leave him to get eaten by the sharks to save my girlfriend? I was like, yes. I was like actively like in the middle of like putting his profile picture into one of the fucking memorial necklaces. But he left. He left before I could do it. He left before I could finish. God damn it. I was just loading up Canva 2. Unfortunate, dude. Why did he have to leave? What an L, dude. Spam L guest down below in the chat for leaving too early. Oh well. All right. Let's go to get that next guest loaded up into the box. If you want to support me, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal, and the link tree in my bio. What's up? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, how old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay, what year are you born in?
2007.
Cool. Let me go to take a couple people here real quick. Lady Teapot, thank you for the $50 super chat over on YouTube. Lady Teapot with a $50 super chat says, for my LGBTQ plus kids, if you feel like no one else, if it feels like no one else know that I love you, you always have someone in your corner. Dude, Lady Teapot, you've been hanging out with us for like the last week or two, and you've been so incredibly kind, not just to me, but like to everyone. You were genuinely a good person, Lady Teapot. Let's show some extra love to Lady Teapot down below in that chat. As well as George, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. Thank you so much, George. You are fantastic. As well as Angela, thank you for the $50 on Venmo saying support you 100%. Thank you, Angela. Dude, show some love to Angela for the $50. That is seriously so fucking kind of you, dude. Holy shit, you guys are being so kind today. As well as Cameron, thank you for the $25 on Venmo. Cameron with the $25 says, I thank you for giving me something educational and funny to listen to while I'm in the gym. Dude, enjoy the pump. Thank you for the $25. Show some love to Cameron in that chat. As well as let's get 200 Rithy W's, that is spelled Rithy. With the $20, Rithy says you are awesome. Keep burning MAGA. Thank you. As well as J-Paw, thank you for the $15 on Venmo. Tammy with a 5. And then Abby with a 5. Thank you guys so much for the love. Let's go ahead and check that PayPal real quick. Erica, thank you for the $3 over on PayPal. Travis with a 2 and Phoenix with a 2 as well. Thank you guys. Go ahead and take it away. Tell us why you are a Trump supporter.
So I just want to start by saying that I mean no disrespect, and I just want to be like as respectful as possible. I'm here to learn and also try to debate my side so I can, just get more knowledge and information about the topic. But I support Trump because honestly, out of Obama and Trump, I would definitely pick Obama any day. But this last election with Kamala Harris and Trump, I picked Trump because I saw some of his foreign and domestic policy, and I just thought it was better compared to what I was seeing with Kamala. I definitely don't get as into it as you do, like where you get all your sources. You sound a lot more like certified and credited than me, but I get most of my information off of like news articles and sometimes TikTok.
Test?
Yeah, I hear you.
Okay, I'm just seeing if there's any echo. Okay, I think the echo went away. All right. So first and foremost, you said that you'd pick Obama over Trump. Who did Obama endorse in the last election?
I have no idea.
Kamala Harris. Second of all, you said that you think his domestic and foreign policy was better. Could you be more specific?
Well, I'll talk about his domestic policy. Honestly, I don't know if this also counts for foreign policy, but what he's doing right now with immigrants, it definitely has gotten a little bit out of hand. But I like the idea of what he's trying to accomplish. Like, there are people that are in our country that should not be because they're here illegally. So I like the fact that he's trying to remove them.
Yeah, I think that mass deportation is an American last policy that only hurts us, but you like it. You think it's a good policy. Can you name one positive material impact of mass deportation on this country? Like one way that it benefits us, one way that it benefits them, one way that it benefits the country, one way it benefits the country's economy, one way it benefits like the country as a whole. Like any way and anything, like what is one way that undocumented immigration, mass deportation makes anything better?
Well, if I'm only naming one way, then I guess I would just say overpopulation in this country.
So actually, overpopulation in this country is not an issue. Underpopulation in this country is an issue. Right now, our birth rates are declining. They're like sub the replacement rate, meaning that immigration into this country has a positive impact on the population. So that actually wouldn't be a positive outcome of mass deportation. If anything, it'd be a negative one.
Okay, I didn't really see it as that way. I kind of see it more as like overpopulation. I'm gonna split it into like subsections. Hold on, I don't know. Can you hear my dog? Do I need to like throw him out the room?
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's pretty quiet. But like I said, overpopulation is not the issue. Underpopulation is the issue because now our birth rates are below a level of sustainability.
I see what you mean. I'm not even going to fact check you on that. I'm pretty sure that you're probably 100% right. But where I was going with it, what I meant on a deeper level is that I don't want this to sound racist, but like the people that he is deporting, that he started with at least, were usually like Hispanics, like Mexicans. I know that it got really violent in some parts. So the fact that he's trying to get rid of like all the illegal ones, a lot of them were causing riots. A lot of them were taking jobs away from people, you know, stuff like that. So the fact that he's getting rid of a lot of those bad ones makes me feel like there's more jobs to go around. There's less violence, even though there's still a lot, there's less violence. And that this country it has to hurt before it can start healing.
Hey man, guess what? Are you a natural US born citizen?
Yeah.
You are statistically speaking 2.5 times more likely to engage in a violent crime than an undocumented immigrant, 3 times more likely to engage in a property crime than an undocumented immigrant, and 3.5 times more likely to engage in a petty crime compared to an undocumented immigrant. Undocumented immigrants are actually one of the most hardest working, benevolent sects of individuals in this country. Less likely to commit all crimes, more likely to be actively participating in the labor force. You also said that if we deport them, there'll be more jobs for Americans. That's false. It'll be less because, according to the American Immigration Council, undocumented immigrants prop up around 6% of the American economy annually, making annual contributions of around $1.1 trillion through $1.7 trillion per year. You deport them, the economy's destabilized, our manufacturers make less goods, and they sell less goods because undocumented immigrants also account for around 11 million demanders on the demand side of the economy, meaning that overall, there will be less economic growth and less open job opportunity for citizens.
All right.
Now, if you care about violence, what's that?
Sorry, no, you can go.
What did you ask? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I was going to ask, where are you getting this information from?
Yeah, so for the information about crime rate, it's coming from PNAS. For the information about economic contributions, it's coming from the American Immigration Council.
Okay. And then you were trailing to something and I cut you off?
Yeah, if you want to stop violence and like get people out of like, if you're telling me that, you want to stop violence and get violent people out of the country, then why the hell do you support a violent felon in the White House?
Well, like I was saying before, the country definitely needs to hurt before it can heal because of the way that it is right now. It's gotten so bad that I feel like it cannot be made good again without some type of violence.
But listen, apart from that just being insane, right? Don't think that. That's crazy, right? Undocumented, more so mass deportation, that's not going to have any like positive outcomes even in the long term, right? And then you just said that you think that the violence that the Trump administration is deploying in their like mass deportation is necessary to help the country. Yeah, that's just like fascist rhetoric.
So do you think that just a purely passive approach could heal our country?
I think that there's a good middle and in between pure pacifism and like violating human rights.
No, you're right. There definitely is.
Right. And then once again, what is the long-term like gain that we get from mass deportation? How's that going to help us in the long term?
Well, once everyone that's that needs to be out is like finally gone, the country can finally go back to being like.
He left mid-sentence. Yeah, sometimes it'll do that. So it like makes it seem like they didn't mean to leave or that it was like a glitch or something or that I kicked them. When in all reality, like it was intentional. And they just didn't know what to say, so they hit the road running. We're going to move on to the next guest, Freddie. Holy flop. That guy flopped. Let's see here. Javante, thank you for the $10 on PayPal, saying keep these...
I feel like we would not have put it in the freezer like that. We would have definitely called and been like...
Sorry, Blueberry just had a lot of background noise, so I got to get him out of here to move on to the next guest. Javante with the $10 on PayPal says, keep helping these MAGA guys. Thank you so much for the love, Javante. Thank you for the $10. As well as Rachel. Thank you for the $25 donation on Venmo. Rachel with the $25. Thank you so much. Says, doing the work. Sorry, it cut off. I don't know why it keeps on doing that. Rachel with the $25 says, here's $25 for doing the work with the worst humans. Thank you for always standing up for the marginalized immigrants and women. Thank you so much for the love, Rachel. As well as Kay, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I really appreciate you for the love. What's up, Thyme? Do you support Trump? Nope, Thyme's not here. Guys, if you happen to be watching and you are an American adult that supports Trump, go ahead and hop in that queue for me. We're going to get you loaded up here. We have around another hour left on the stream, I'd say. Let me see. Where does it tell me how long I've been live? Yes, we have 1 hour left on the stream, folks. So if you want to be one of the last debates of the day in the last hour here on live, go ahead and hop in that queue for me. Just make sure that you are an American adult that is pro-Trump, and we will happily get you loaded up into the stream to have a conversation. Let's go to move on to that next guest right now. Go ahead and let me know down below in that comment section if you are MAGA and you'd like to come up here and have a discussion. We're honestly going to try to get a handful of you guys loaded in. And like I said, if you want to support me and you want to support what we do here, you can find my Venmo, my PayPal at the top of the phone screen, as well as in the link tree in my bio and in the pin message over on YouTube. What's up, you guys? Are you guys MAGA?
Yes.
Okay, the guy at the bottom is. What about you, Zach?
Yes, I'm MAGA. You're a bitch, and why do you vape?
You're like 4.
Why do you vape?
Get out of here. Go back to daycare.
Why do you vape? Answer the question.
Georgie, how old are you?
I'm 19, 2006.
Nice. And what time is it?
It's around 3-4.
What's that?
I'm in Oklahoma. It's around 3:30.
Okay. What's one state that borders Oklahoma?
Texas.
I don't think that Texas borders Oklahoma.
Texas, to the south of us, it's Texas.
Is it? Let me look up a map. You might be right. Oh, yeah, you're right. It is. Jesus Christ. I guess I need to look at maps more. All right, I'll take the.
Yeah, I'm in Broken Arrow.
Okay, wait. What's to the north of Oklahoma?
Arkansas.
Wrong. It's Kansas.
Come on, dude. I'm in Broken Arrow. It's 4:50. I am in Oklahoma. I've been waiting 2 hours to debate you. Give me a chance.
But you didn't know what state was to the north of Oklahoma.
I live in a niche. I live in Broken Arrow. Why would I come here? Busting
And then
shit
you
about
also
Broken
said
Arrow.
then you also said it was 3:15 p.m. So that's Mountain.
I said 4:15. I said 4:15.
No, you specifically said 3:15 because that's my time zone. So I remember that.
Let me debate, please. I am from Oklahoma. I'm
Okay.
sorry.
What's election day in America?
What?
What's election day in America?
What do you mean by the question? It changes every 4 years when the election day is. It's in November.
It changes every 4 years. Jesus Christ. Okay. How? Yeah. So
I haven't
you're
voted. I
obviously-
turned 19 last week.
you're
I turned
obviously-
19 last week. I
Okay.
haven't
And, and how many branches of the American government is there?
There are 4.
God. What are they?
You're just so bad. Fuck.
Okay, just admit it. You're a Brit.
I'm not British. I'm Swedish. But I did want to debate you about. I want to debate you about because you haven't got a lot of Trump supporters, have you? I've been here for 2 hours.
Sorry, man. I gotta stick to my guns, and we gotta follow the rules, man. We're gonna move on to the next guest. Go ahead and hop in that queue if you happen to be an American adult that supports Trump. Dude did his research on the map. Okay, he figured out right all the questions that he needed to know an answer to, of like where the state is, what states border it, like what time it is. But we only debate citizens, folks. What's up? Do you support Trump? All right, Alex isn't here. We're gonna move on to the next guest. He almost had his story straight. He almost convinced me, but I kept pressing because I felt like something was up, and I ended up being right. Yo, TJ, thank you for the $10 super chat on YouTube saying Cat 5 Hurricane Dino spitting facts. Dude, let's go. Appreciate you for that love, TJ. Let's go to get that next Trump supporter loaded up into the live right now. Hop in that queue of your MAGA. We'll get you connected. We got Austin loading up right now. Thank you, TJ, for the $15 over on Super Chat. LFG, dude. As well as Liliana. Thank you for the $10 on PayPal. Liliana says, I watch your lives every day. Thank you for teaching and entertaining me every day, Dean. Well, thank you for the love, Liliana. Show some love to Liliana down below. As well as Mia. Thank you so much for the $10 on Venmo saying for your troubles and another anxiety pin. Thank you for the love, Mia. Shout out to Liliana and Mia down below. What's up? Do you support Trump, Austin?
Yes, I do. How are you, Dean?
I'm doing, quite frankly, the best ever. Why the hell do you support the worst president of, how old are you?
30.
Why the hell do you support the worst president of your 30 years of life?
Well, because to me, he's not the worst president of my 30 years. I remember watching you on Jubilee against Charlie Kirk. I thought that was pretty interesting. I have followed your work for a while. I think Trump is, well, why do I still support him? I support him because he has attempted to make good on a couple of promises. The no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, although I would have liked the amount increased that you could actually write off in taxes. I think that was pretty good. I think he has worked harder to end the war, for example, in Israel, in the Middle East. I think that he's trying to keep most of what he said. He's trying to keep most of his promises. There's still some very glaring errors and issues that I have with him, but that's why I still support him, to be honest.
Okay, so you support him because he's tried to keep most of his promises. Okay, maybe let's just start off with like everything that you just went over. First, talking about like no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. I think that he like significantly like underperformed there. I think if Kamala Harris was elected, like she promised the same things, we would have seen much more, and not just like a deduction of $12,000 that expires in 2 years. But I think like the real difference between Kamala Harris and Mr. Trump here is the fact that Donald Trump included the no tax on tips and overtime in a 831-page bill that cost us $4.5 trillion. That, according to the Center on Budget and Policy Priorities, all things considered, actually hurts you if you make at or less than $51,000 per year.
What is it? What is the metric that they use to determine that it hurts Americans if they make less than $50,000 a year? What is the metric that they use to determine that?
Purchasing power.
Well, the purchasing power actually doesn't have anything to do with Trump adding money to the deficit. That undercuts a much larger issue, which is the fact that the Federal Reserve exists still and hasn't been restructured to actually answer to Congress. It doesn't answer to anybody. So that's not something I would actually blame on any president. I wouldn't blame it on Trump. I wouldn't blame that on Bush or Obama. The Federal Reserve's existence leads to the sort of built-in debt crises in fiat currency systems like we have now.
The Federal Reserve, as you pointed out, kind of operates independently of Congress in many senses, which actually kind of demonstrates why they'd be irrelevant to this conversation, because it is Congress and it is Trump and it is the passing of the big beautiful bill that's spending $4.5 trillion and reducing the purchasing power of the average American making at or under $51,000 per year due to its many cuts to energy production, healthcare, food stamps, so on and so forth.
Well, no, I still don't think that the purchasing power has nothing to do with Congress or the president directly. That actually has to do with money supply. And
it has to do with Congress and the president directly. Okay, like for instance, like one of the ways that it's like reducing the purchasing power of low-income Americans is by like kicking 10 million low-income Americans off of Medicaid, while therefore also increasing the Medicaid premiums for those that remain on it by 75% via their cuts to Medicaid upwards of $900 billion over the course of the next 10 years and their new work requirements. Those things are reducing the purchasing power of low-income Americans because now they have to spend more of their money dedicated towards either the new Medicaid premiums or towards healthcare elsewhere because they no longer have Medicaid.
Well, that's a gross misrepresentation of what is actually happening here, Dean. Again, if you just look at the chart of the U.S. money supply from 1913
up through about the money supply.
Well, because that is actually what determines purchasing power, Dean. I think that's what you're missing. The purchasing power of the United States, $1 in 1913
there's not one univocal thing that determines purchasing power.
Yes, there actually is, Dean. $1 in 1913 required $21.60 in the year 2007 to match purchasing power value. So everyone's dollar in this country has been suffering a loss of purchasing power. This is one of the most well-stated things from economist Paul Krugman has said this, several others, that
anybody with a
97% of its purchasing power.
Anybody with a brain would recognize that the dollar has lost a lot of its value in the last 100 years. That's
right,
not a nuanced, sophisticated, or partisan take.
Well, no. Then you have to then look at what is the root cause of that, and the root cause of that is the fact that the Federal Reserve prints money out of thin air arbitrarily, and this has been called out by Ron Paul. This has been called out by Rand Paul even, and Donald Trump at one point. And this is why what he's trying to do is rein in the out of control money production of the Fed. Let's not forget that every dollar that we have is loaned to us at interest. The United States has never been debt free except under one instance when Andrew Jackson was president. So you really want to? I can't hold Trump accountable for that $4.5 trillion that he's added to our national deficit, because prior to every president has added trillions and trillions of dollars, not as a direct fault of them or even their policy. I'm undercutting a larger issue here.
Did you know that the M2 money supply is higher today than it was at the peak of COVID after the 2 stimulus bills?
Absolutely. And again, the purchasing power of the dollar has gone down.
And then you also
as a
told
result
us,
of that.
And then you also told us that you can't hold Donald Trump accountable for the $4.5 trillion that he added to the debt, which is funny because in that breath, you attributed accountability to him by arguing he's the one that added it to the debt. And then you gave us this juxtaposition of arguing that you can't condemn him for the trillions of dollars that he added.
Well, I said you can't condemn any president.
Because you also said that other presidents have added money to the debt as well. And I'd absolutely say that you can condemn presidents for their terrible fiscal policy that they're pushing through Congress. But once again, I don't think that you came up here for debate with me about Trump. You didn't come up here for debate with me about policy. In fact, I don't really know if you came up here for debate with me at all, right? Because so far, all that you've shared with us. Can you allow me to finish speaking? Can you allow me to finish speaking? Because all that you've said so far is you've spoken fastly and told me that the dollar has lost a lot of its value in the last 100 years. Okay, you're right. Well, now what does this have to do with the argument that I gave you, for instance, that Donald Trump just signed in the most expensive bill in American history that is taking healthcare away from 10 million low-income Americans?
You're speaking to the Medicare and Medicaid cuts, Dean, which there are
It's not Medicare and Medicaid, it's just Medicaid.
Okay, no, there was also provision there that decreased the amount of Medicare available for certain Americans under a certain income that were not working a certain amount of hours. That's also in that 837-page bill. The point is, however,
no. That's the Medicaid, not Medicare. You're talking about the new work requirements imposed on Medicaid. Medicare is not for low-income Americans. Medicaid is for old Americans. Sorry, not Medicare. Medicare is for old Americans. Did he leave? My God. I guess he was so butthurt that I just offered him a quick correction on what he was saying. That wasn't even supposed to be a dunk, bro. I was just trying to correct you. You said that it defunded Medicaid. Medicare. No, it was Medicaid, not Medicare. And then he doubled down arguing that there's new work requirements added to Medicare. No. There's new work requirements added to Medicaid. I guess that pissed him off so much that he left. All right. Yeah, Medicare is for old individuals and disabled individuals. Medicaid is for low-income individuals. Get it right, buddy. We're going to move on to the next guest because he left. Yeah, everybody point and laugh at everybody spamming W guess in that chat. Guesser champion ran away.
Hello?
What's up, man? Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do.
How old are you?
I am 18.
Okay, what year were you born in?
2007.
Okay, what month?
June.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and thank a couple people here. Randy, thank you so much for the $50 over on Super Chat, Randy, and it's so good to see you again. You were hanging out with us at the beginning of the stream, Randy. You were so fucking kind, dude. Thank you so much for the love. Randy didn't attach a message to their $50 donation. Thank you so much, Randy. As well as I would like to very quickly thank here. Let's see. Victoria, thank you so much for the $50 over on Venmo. Let's get 500 Randy W's and 500 Victoria W's. You both are so incredibly kind and generous. Thank you both for the love. Victoria with the $50 says, thank you for standing up for women's rights, especially people like the P3 apologist Anna yesterday. No one knows unless they live what society does to victims and their families. Endless criticism, blame games, and quote unquote, how do you let that happen? And they still choose, and they still lose the battle. Yeah, Victoria. I remember Anna from yesterday. She was so fucking disgusting, bruh. Yeah, man, that made me end early. Anyways, welcome in, new guys. Take it away. Tell us why you support Trump.
All right, I'd like to mainly highlight Trump's success in primarily, this is what I support, his involvement in deploying troops in Chicago. I completely firsthand support that. That is completely justified.
Wait, 1 second. I didn't even hear anything that you just said. Apparently that last guess is on the new leg of the Unfuck America tour. Like that guy that just came up and debate or tried to debate me about fiscal policy is like on the Unfuck America tour?
Is he? Damn.
Apparently. Yo, listen, UFA, y'all got to get some better debaters. Y'all got to get some better debaters. What the fuck was that, dude? What the fuck was that supposed to be? Come on, guys. Listen, if there's anybody from UFA in here, if he's still watching this, y'all gotta throw a better squad together. Anyways, go ahead and tell us again why you support Trump.
Yeah, basically, I was saying that I support Trump's decision to send 500 National Guard troops, 200 from Texas, 300 from Illinois into Chicago.
I think that a federal court ruled earlier this morning that was illegal and in violation of the 10th Amendment. So why do you support constitutional violations? Let me fact check that.
I'm just gonna wait until you fact check it, but personally, because I don't know if that's a constitutional violation.
Yeah. They did. Let's see. Yep, New York Times breaking a judge restricted deploying troops in the Chicago area, saying the Trump administration's accounts used to justify it were simply unreliable. Yep, so that was ruled as illegal. So why do you support the Trump administration doing things that are illegal?
Okay, and when was it ruled that it was illegal?
This was posted literally earlier this morning.
Okay, so you're telling me that it was ruled illegal after Trump had done it.
Right. Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
So typically things are ruled illegal once they're done.
So basically, you're saying that when Trump had done it, the crime it wasn't even ruled a crime. Nobody ever thought of it as unconstitutional.
Actually, no, not true, because a federal judge like last week ruled it as unconstitutional for him to deploy National Guard in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, so if you believe that, the president doesn't have the right to send troops into Chicago, which is littered with gang violence, as we know, statistics show they have a lot of gang violence in there. And if Trump wants to reduce that, why are you saying that his actions to reduce that is unconstitutional? Just because, like, your moral justice.
Why am I saying that it's illegal? Because a court ruled it's illegal. It's pretty simple.
Okay, but like you said before, that guy who was debating you said that something.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Is there any but there? A court ruled it was illegal, therefore it's illegal.
Exactly. You're saying just because the court said it's illegal, it's illegal.
Yes.
There's no moral justification as to why it's illegal. It's just because they said the court can tell me, oh, eating with a plastic fork is illegal. Are you going to say, oh yeah, no, that's illegal. That's 100% wrong.
If we had a federal law in the books that said eating with a plastic fork is illegal, and then you ate with a plastic fork, and three federal judges ruled that you did something illegal, then yeah, it would be illegal.
All right, but why do you believe that it's illegal? Just because? Okay, aside from the fact that the court.
Why do I believe it's illegal? It's because I had like 4 federal judges tell me so.
Hey, listen up. They also ruled abortion illegal, and are you saying that that's also wrong? Because if you're saying that they're wrong because they ruled that illegal, then you got to say that abortion is wrong too. But you've been fighting against abortion.
I said that it was illegal for Donald Trump to deploy the National Guard because federal
and it's illegal to have an abortion too.
Yeah. Now you're getting it.
And
yes.
Now you're getting that.
Yes,
just because it's illegal doesn't mean it was wrong for Trump to.
It is illegal to get an abortion in Texas. That's right. And now you're saying just because it's illegal, that doesn't mean it's wrong. Okay. Well, I would argue here that it definitely is very authoritarian, right, to violate the Constitution, break federal law, and illegally deploy the National Guard and the military in American cities under a domestic declaration of war. Can we agree that that's authoritarian? I don't know why you're getting like so fucking pressed either. Calm down.
No, I'm not getting pressed. I dislike the fact that the last couple of people, I will agree some of them have been rude, some of them have just been straight up retarded. I'm sorry to use that word, but I will say that some of them.
All right, let's go to get our next guest up in here. Hop in that queue if you happen to be a Trump supporter. We'll get you connected. We got Ultra MAGA Trumper connecting to the live. Ashley, thank you for the $10 over on Venmo. I appreciate you for that love, Ashley. Show some love to Ashley down below. As well as Amy, thank you for the $10 as well. Amy says, how do you stay sane? Thank you for getting up here every day and fighting for the good. You know, let me tell you, Amy, first and foremost, thank you for the $10. Chat, please show some love to Amy. Some days I don't stay sane. I'm gonna keep it real. Sometimes it's hard. Today I'm doing all right though. As well as Caitlin, thank you for the $25 over on Venmo. Caitlin says, not sure if this went through like an hour ago or so. I watch like all day, every day. You aren't fighting for critical thinking alone. Dude, Caitlin, thank you for the $25 and your very kind words. I'm really happy that you enjoy the streams and that you hang out in here with us. Huge shout out to you down below. Thank you for watching and thank you for the $25. As well as Kate, thank you for the $10 over on Super Chat. Shout out to you. All right, what is going on, Ultra MAGA Trumper? Do you support Trump?
Yeah, I think it's implied in the name.
You'd assume, right? How old are you?
35.
Okay. Do you think that Donald Trump is the best president in the United States history?
That's debatable. I'd probably say Lincoln's better than him, but
second best.
I'd say yeah.
You're insane. You're like actually crazy. I'm flipping you off.
That's quite rude. Why is that merited?
Well, because you just said that Donald Trump is the second best president in American history. Okay.
That's right.
Okay, what makes you think that? Is it like the 34 felonies, the grape case, or the regressive economic policy or social reform?
Well, yeah, like those cases, nobody actually buys those. Nobody with any real rational thought actually buys those. So we don't consider him a rapist.
Can you give me the rational thought to justify the position that you don't buy the 34 felonies or the grape case?
Because he was very clearly, and it's come out now as true, that he was literally a victim of political lawfare. So, I mean, those 34 felonies that won't even tell. Can I finish my thought?
Define political lawfare and then tell me how to apply here.
Well, can I finish my thought before you ask your question?
I don't know. It depends on how I'm feeling. I'm being honest.
That's why I'm asking you, can I?
Right now, yeah, sure.
Thanks, appreciate that. That's very kind of you. So yeah, because he's been the victim of a political witch hunt since he, came down the escalator. It's conceivable that every injunction that's been filed, every law, every court case that's been filed. I mean, we'll just look at every political action he's made, every executive order that he's made. Even if another president had done it, it would have just been seen as another executive order. But because he did, every single action he's taken has been met with an injunction of some sort, met with some kind of court case. It's all just political theater. So nobody actually buys that he's a rapist. Nobody actually buys that E. Jean Carroll is anything more than just a pick-me or somebody who wants to get some cash. That's it.
Yeah, no, it's very typical of Trump supporters to call victims of rape pick-me. See, that's why I think you're disgusting. And that's why I think that many other individuals that fall on your side of the aisle are disgusting. And you asked me to let you finish speaking. Can you allow me to finish speaking?
Sure.
Good boy.
I'll give you permission.
Good boy. Thank you. Good boy.
I give you permission. You're welcome.
Good boy. Good boy. And so now, and just to finish out my thought here. So you told me that nobody with rational thought actually buys this. So then I asked you for the rational thought and presumption of evidence to demonstrate how the outcome of the unanimous jury of 9 inside of the civil court that determined that Donald Trump was a rapist was false. And then your rational thought was just a slew of random words pieced together, honing in on political warfare and lawfare, fucking witchcraft, some dumb shit like that. Okay. So let me go and set the record straight with you, little man. If you're going to come up here and claim that a court is wrong, or in this case, multiple courts are wrong, you're going to have compelling reason for each individual circumstance insofar as why they got it incorrect. You can't just sit up here, call it a witch hunt, then expect me to brush it off the shoulder and agree with your propaganda and misinformation without a second thought, right? So more specifically, I'm going to ask you, well, why do you think that he is not actually guilty of the 34 felonies he was found guilty of, and it is just rather an example of political warfare? Why do you think he's not actually guilty of what the 9 unanimous jurors found him liable for in that civil court when they determined that he raped E. Jean Carroll? And why do you just think it's political warfare? Why do you think that the multiple injunctions issued by judges since the beginning of his second administration have been baseless and not actually targeting real constitutional violations, such as the first round of injunctions that were offered by judges, not even a month into his term did, in response to an executive order that he signed on day one, attempting to illegally ban birthright citizenship for the children of undocumented immigrants? See, in my mind, Donald Trump does not care about the law. He doesn't care about order. And he just kind of wants to do whatever he wants to do, regardless if it's legal or illegal, right? And that's why there's been so many felony proceedings. That's why there's been so many civil proceedings. That's why there's been so many injunctions, is because he's actually breaking the law. In your brain, you instead baselessly assume that all of these courts are just under liberal direction. They're completely baseless with no evidence. And I guess I just want to know why. So maybe let's hone in on like one specific court case or one specific injunction, and you could describe to me how it obviously lacks merit.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Okay, so since you just went off on some crazy monologue for like 30 minutes, why don't you actually ask a question?
I'll condense it down. You have no reason to call it baseless. You're just assuming that it's baseless. Can you please give me like the very specific merit and reason to assume that, like, for instance, the first national injunction that was issued under second term in response to his illegal executive order attempting to take birthright citizenship away from the children of undocumented immigrants born on American soil is baseless?
Well, I'll answer why I believe that the 34 felonies are ridiculous, because they're actually not felonies. They're actually misdemeanors in New York, and they had to actually change the statute in order to reflect them being felonies in order to even pursue him in court. So that already, which was unprecedented, mind you, that alone was enough to just give enough evidence for every voter that this is again, a witch hunt, that they're doing anything in their power to bend or gray the rules so that they can just, find these trumped up charges, no pun intended. Do you know that the word is unanimous and not unanimous?
I pronounce it unanimous. People continue to tell me to pronounce it unanimous. Did you know the word is rapist, not favorite president ever? Oh,
you're not allowed to say rapist on this app.
That struck a bone. Anyways, listen. So you just told me that they changed like the statute in the state of New York to like reflect what they wanted to prosecute Trump with. Okay, what specific felony statute did they change?
So the statute of limitations had run out on the quote unquote misdemeanor that he was supposed to be charged with. That's why they had to change it. Do you realize that?
Well, actually, do you realize that now you're confusing the cases and the propaganda surrounding them? So the argument to do with statute of limitations doesn't apply to his 34 felonies. It instead applies to E. Jean Carroll and her claim of grape.
The grape case is what you just brought up.
Right? No, we're talking about his 34 felonies. You dingus. They're two separate things.
Well, then why did you bring up grapist?
I said, oh, actually, did you know that you call him rapist instead of president? In response to your snarky comment where you said, did you know it's unanimous instead of unanimous, right? However, this whole time we've been talking about his 34 felonies. Wow. All right. So you said they changed the statute to
like
charge him with a felony. It's not my fault.
You talk about like 50 different talking points in the matter of 6 seconds. So in order to actually track the conversation, how about we go point by point? Is that too difficult for you?
Did you say that they changed the statute on the felony?
No, the felonies were ridiculous. They were a clerical error.
Okay.
That's all.
So
that's all.
So you agree that he's guilty of this clerical error?
You mean putting down on his tax I don't care what he put down on his tax documents. I couldn't care less about that case.
They weren't even tax.
Well,
I mean, I guess some of them might have been tax documents. What were the 34 felonies for?
Falsification of business records.
In the first degree, meaning it was in furtherance of concealing a second step crime. So those were the 34 felonies. Okay, well, see, now you're already shifting the goalposts. You're changing your position from he didn't commit these felonies and it was political warfare to he did commit these felonies and I couldn't care less. So why would you say that you don't care about these felonies? Let's start there.
I did not concede that he committed them.
Okay. Why?
I did not say that.
Why do you think that he didn't commit these 34 felonies?
Because, well, hold on. I don't. I thought we were letting each other speak, remember?
I'm sorry. I had to.
And by the way, how do you feel about Jay Jones?
Jay Jones?
Yeah, the individual running for Attorney General in Virginia.
Not familiar. Now tell me why you don't believe the 34 felonies.
You're not familiar? Nope. But he's a Democrat running for Attorney General in one of the biggest swing states in the country. You said you wake up every day and you scour the internet for all these news sources every day. You can't have missed it, bro. Just saying, you couldn't have possibly missed it.
Yeah, right now I've been sticking to federal headlines. So why don't you believe the 34 felonies, Mr. Pivot?
Is that not federal? That he's
the Attorney General of a state. I mean, like state level, not federal level. It's not the AG of the federal American government. He'd be the AG of a state government. So why don't you believe the 34 felonies? I don't know why you're pivoting so hard.
Are you just trying? No, are you trying to avoid this topic?
It sounds like you're trying to avoid the topic of giving an explanation for why you didn't believe it's 34 felonies.
I'm just tired of this.
You understand that like everybody realizes that, right? Like right now you're trying to like push the narrative so hard that I'm avoiding talking about Jay Jones. Like what the fuck? We're like, dude, why do you still support Trump? You tell me it's because political warfare is not actually guilty of his 34 felonies. Dean asks, why don't you think that he's guilty of his 34 felonies?
Trump.
Then you're like, what about Jay Jones? Listen, man.
I never gave you a reason why I support Trump, did I?
I'll let you yap about Jay Jones once you're done.
I never.
Why you don't believe his 34 felonies?
I never gave you a reason why I support Trump.
Okay, interesting. Now tell us why you don't believe his 34 felonies.
Because they're irrelevant to me. That's all I care about.
So you're saying they're irrelevant, therefore false?
They're irrelevant to my decision on voting for Trump. They're irrelevant to my decision for voting for Trump.
Well, saying they're irrelevant isn't.
They could have been 300 felonies. I couldn't give a shit.
Well, exactly. So I was right when I said you've now shifted your goalpost from arguing that he's not guilty of the crime to instead now arguing that although he is guilty of the crime, you don't really care.
He, in my eyes, is not guilty of the crime.
Okay,
so no, I did not say that. What argument to be made?
An argument to be made for the claim that he's not guilty of the 34 felonies that the criminal court in New York found him guilty of. That's the argument that I want to give.
Because all of the charges that have been lobbed against him since he ran have been trumped up or false in every sense and have been just a political witch hunt. That's the reasoning. I told you this.
So you're saying they're false because they're a political witch hunt, and then let me guess. Let me guess, little man. Let me guess, little. Let me guess, little man. Let me guess.
That's a straw man.
Stephen Miller
That's
Jr.
a straw man.
Then your argument for the notion that they're political warfare is that they're false, right? Dude, I'm breaking your fucking brain with third grade logic. This is too easy for me. Come on, bro.
You think you're winning?
Of course, I don't think I'm winning. I know I'm winning. I'm asking you for an argument to demonstrate why you don't think he's guilty of the crimes.
Stop spreading out.
One moment. I'm asking you for an argument to demonstrate that he's guilty of the crimes that the court found him guilty of. And then you're like, oh, it's because they're political witch hunt. And then, like, let me guess. Now give me an argument for the notion that they're political witch hunt. It's going to be reliant on the assumption that he's guilty, that he's not guilty for the claim. Oh, am I going to let you run away?
Can I honor the prompt and tell you why I support Trump?
Hey, man, buckle up. Do you need a little booster seat, little man? All right, to argue the claim?
Do you need ad homs to win a debate?
I mean, it's an ad hom is not just an attack or an insult of one's character, but it's specifically
that's irrelevant to the topic.
Hey, could you allow Could you allow me to finish speaking here?
No.
No, you can't. Oh, so you're going to whine and cry?
No, not this time. No, you're right. Not this time.
No, I can't allow him to finish
Absolutely
speaking.
not. You cannot.
No, Dean is mogging me too hard, so I can't let him finish speaking.
You coward. Go ahead, mute.
I'm actually just going to ask you to stop talking yourself. Be an adult. You coward. You fucking child. Be an adult.
I did last time, but this time I'm not.
No, try a little bit.
I'm not going to let you talk.
Try a little bit harder to act your age this time. Good boy. All right. Anyways, so back to what I was saying before you very rudely interrupted me. So once again, no, I'm not going to allow you just to completely change the topic of the conversation. I'm not going to allow you just to completely do a 180 and immediately pivot.
That would be you, sir. I'm trying to tell you why I support Trump. That's the prompt. That's the actual prompt of the whole live. So you're the one who changed the topic. Just let it be known.
I think I need to help you calm down. Would playing some 77 hertz Zen music help?
It sure would.
Time is everything when you're running solo.
That'd be an ad. All right. We're gonna calm down together, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I want you to take a deep breath in.
I'm good.
Then take
I'm cool.
A deep breath out. I want you to focus on me. It's just me and you.
I'd rather not.
Okay. Right now, I want you to redirect all of that pent-up aggression and anger that has been growing inside of you because of your resentment for the truth. And I want you to channel it.
I would love you to tell me the truth.
And I want you to redirect.
I would love you to tell me what the truth is.
I want you to channel it. I don't want you to
I would love you to tell me
redirect
what the truth
it in
is.
a positive demeanor.